Oh,
Yeah, okay.
a certain amount, and I'm counting everything.
All right, good evening. Good evening. It is 5:30, so we'll start this public hearing. It is obviously March 2nd, 2026. It's 5:30, like I said. We're here. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Tigers did well in a lot of sports, so good for the Tigers. But this is a notice of the public hearing. It's 2026 R01, Proposed Text Amendment, Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District. I'm just going to read what this text amendment, and then I'll turn it over to Nathan Woods. The proposed amendment would establish a new zoning overlay district intended to facilitate stability and promote continuity that will help maintain the character and minimize negative impacts of change on designated existing residential neighborhoods. Among these issues addressed by draft standards are the prioritization of the preservation and protection of the natural terrain and existing landscape, and ensuring the architectural elements and placement of new development conform to the character of the surrounding existing neighborhood. It also establishes the Board of Architecture Review to establish additional design criteria. The Planning Commission approved this proposal on February 9th of this year, and the links to copies of these documents will be published on the agenda center page of the city website. Just a reminder, this is a public hearing for those that have not been here before. It's understood to be a forum for people interested in the subject matter to present information to City Council for its consideration as it deliberates an issue. It is not a forum for debate or argument between members of the council and opponents or proponents or each other. Each speaker shall be limited to 5 minutes unless the City Council authorizes one extension of 3 minutes. And the presiding officer may terminate a presentation that's covering the same information as presented by a previous speaker. Such speakers shall be encouraged to simply state their agreement with the previous speaker and bring new information to the subject. A couple other things. One, ADA listening devices are up here. Jeremiah, head nod. Thank you, Jeremiah. If you need those, please. And then when you come up, please sign in, approach the podium, and speak to well, please speak up for the audience at home because we're on video. I think I've covered everything. Thank y'all for being here again. I'm gonna turn it over to Nathan Woods to give us an update of the neighborhood conservation overlay. I know this will be about 10 or 15 minutes. So, okay, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you. Thanks. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Clemson evolves, we've seen that our traditional growth tools haven't always kept pace with the unique character of our neighborhoods. This isn't a new conversation. We've been having this same conversation since at least 1989. Tonight is different. We are moving past the what and why to provide a how. The most frequent request I hear is protect our neighborhoods. This neighborhood conservation overlay does exactly that. It replaces guesswork with clear standards for site layout and design. Our goal is simple: to ensure Clemson grows alongside our established neighborhoods and not at their expense. To understand the solution, we first need to look at the foundation, base zoning. This is the blueprint that tells us the what and the where. It's a tool that ensures a grocery store doesn't pop up in the middle of a residential block. However, base zoning is a one-size-fits-all tool. A broad brush isn't enough to protect the specific character of a street. That is where this overlay, this extra layer, comes into play. An overlay is like a clear sheet of tracing paper that you laid over a base map. It doesn't change the basic rules for the whole city, but it adds special instructions for a specific area. Standard zoning is a one-size-fits-all jacket, and an overlay is like a tailored suit, designed to fit the specific layout of a street. This is a standard professional tool similar to our architectural district standards, used to help construction fit in with the community's existing look and feel. Since December, my staff and I have spent over 60 hours in one-on-one conversations with residents from these neighborhoods. I specifically sought out those people that have had the courage to speak up, both for and against development at public meetings. Many of them you know well, others you've never heard of. Some of them really like you, and others do not. Some of them really like me, most of them do not. But personal opinions aside, I listened, and what I found was a surprising amount of agreement. Regardless of how they feel about this overlay as a tool, They are all feeling the same four stressors. A changing character. New construction is physically changing the look and feel of their blocks. 2, commercial creep. The fear of high density entering their quiet residential streets. 3, environmental loss, a deep concern over the loss of our mature tree canopy. And 4, a physical toll, the exhausting nature of unregulated construction, even next door. This framework is the direct answer to those concerns, focused on 4 pillars: matching design, requiring additions or accessory buildings to match the materials and style of the primary home. 2, secure boundaries, removing planned developments from the district to ensure residential scale growth. 3, tree and land protection, moving away from clear cutting by requiring tree mapping and a 2-for-1 replacement rule. And 4, better oversight, requiring mandatory site management plans to minimize the mess and noise of construction. On the screen, you'll find the actual ordinance text. These rules move us away from a copy-paste development towards thoughtful design. Cohesive materials. Garages or guest houses must match the primary house so they don't look like afterthoughts. Site compatibility. New construction must fit with the existing lot to maintain the site's identity. Here we're talking about the placement on a lot of new construction. And professional oversight. Our new project manager will oversee site management plans to protect the neighbors' peace and safety. Go ahead. Sorry. Tree preservation. Going forward, folks must map mature trees and describe the measures that will be taken to conserve them. We're minimizing the loss of mature trees 8 inches and greater in diameter, and we're requiring a 2-for-1 replacement with canopy trees. If suitable location can't be found, the BAR does have the option to replace them with ornamental trees or pay $500 into our tree bank. We are removing, site standards. I have messed up here. Respecting the land. We are ending the scrape and level approach. Buildings must be set into the natural shape of the land to protect drainage. We are mandating that large native trees reach 50 feet at maturity with ornamental trees like dogwoods for a lush private feel, and including those ornamental trees. And the BAR, they have setback flexibility. They can adjust setbacks to ensure buildings line up with neighbors in order to seek fit over formula. And the BAR will have final approval of all landscaping plans to ensure our environmental goals are actually delivered. Can you actually go back a couple slides, Allie, to, yeah, that's the one I wanted to touch on. Consistent baseline. We are removing the planned developments here. Any PD proposal in this overlay will not be considered, period. We are also protecting the grid, preventing irregular lot shapes. Property lines must stay perpendicular to the road to keep the street looking predictable. And landscaping standards, all new builds must meet our landscape standards to provide the same shade and beauty of the homes that have been there for decades. Now if you can go to the map. Now the map. We didn't draw these lines arbitrarily. They are built on 3 objective pillars. Number 1, history. Using Knox Lane as the established boundary for the area east of College. 2, physical reality. The area south of Hedgerow functions as a high-intensity rental corridor. While these older homes are a valued part of our city's fabric, the fact is that over 70% of them serve as rental housing. Creates a dynamic fundamentally different from a traditional owner-occupied residential core. To be clear, the underlying height limits in this transition zone are not changing. We aren't leaving these streets unprotected to invite developers. Rather, we're acknowledging that they already function differently than the single-family core. Applying this overlay here is a functional mismatch. It attempts to force suburban standards onto a working rental district that is already successful, meeting a critical middle housing need. Expanding the overlay here would not only destabilize a housing engine that has functioned for decades, but it would directly contradict our comprehensive plan, which recognizes the existing medium density of this area. We have focused these protections where the single-family core remains intact rather than jeopardizing the functional reality of this transition zone. And 3, consistency. These boundaries mirror the comprehensive plan this council recently adopted. We are following the data. By staying within the R20 core, we avoid policy conflicts with existing multifamily zones and ensure the overlay remains defensible and a targeted tool. We often hear in this community think of planning as a zero-sum game. It can appear that there has to be a winner and a loser, that one side has to get what they want and the other side has to lose. We don't see it that way. This framework replaces conflict with clarity and creates a win-win-win. For residents, the win is certainty. This draws a permanent line against incompatible sprawl and ensures what happens on our terms. For developers, the win is predictability. It removes the guesswork, leading to a streamlined process with fewer delays. And for the city, the win is strategic growth. We protect our residential heart while directing density to the proper corridors. To wrap up, what we are looking at tonight is the resolution of a 40-year concern. We are finally moving from the what to the how by creating a permanent shield for our residential cores. This framework is the result of a deliberate and transparent process that began in December. Over the last 3 months, we have held public hearings, private stakeholder meetings, planning commission meetings, and community drop-ins to shape this overlay. Staff have spent hours in one-on-one conversations with residents. We've listened to the supporters, the skeptics, and the developers. We are replacing an unpredictable growth with a professional model. New construction will no longer be an outlier. It must match the design of the primary home. The NCO provides a clear roadmap this community has been asking for since at least 1989. We are ready to move from discussion to protection. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it. All right, this is the, well, first of all, we'll preface, there were some comments that were submitted to us online. We'll read those during the City Council regular meeting during discussion, just FYI, because we want to make sure we hear from the ones that are here tonight. So we're going to turn it over. I'm just going to give those reminders again. Remember, it's 5 minutes. There is a oh, no, I have the ones that have already signed in. So just remember, there's a 5-minute clock up there. And I'll remind again that this is an opportunity to share your information or your thoughts. So the floor is yours, and I'll start it off with Heather Cook. I got to go back to my glasses. Hey, Heather.
Hey.
All right.
Good evening to the council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Heather Cook, and I live in the home that my parents, Bruce and Pat Cook, purchased on Hillcrest Avenue nearly 50 years ago. I appreciate the opportunity and the efforts that the city is putting in to protect historic neighborhoods. I respectfully ask that Hillcrest Avenue, Dargan Lane, and North Clemson Avenue be considered for inclusion in the Neighborhood District Overlay Plan. I am deeply grateful for the privilege of living, working, and serving in the Clemson community. And although there are many rental properties in our neighborhood and have been for quite some time, our neighborhood is also made up of long-term residents who care deeply about these homes, not just as structures, but as places where Clemson's story has been lived for generations. These homes are worth protecting. Our home has stood for almost 110 years. And everyone who has ever come to work on this home, which there have been many, has said the same thing. They just don't build homes like this anymore. There is a level of craftsmanship, durability, and character in these homes that is becoming increasingly rare. I cannot imagine what replaces them, if they are lost to development, will still be standing 100 years from now. Beyond the buildings themselves, these homes hold history. Many were built or owned, the property owned by Fort Hill Land Company, whose names are woven into Clemson's past, the founders including names like Dargan, Holzendorf, Cooper, Barr, Sloan, and many more. And then families that have lived there, including Sams, Shanklin, Peel, Kunkel, Carney, Arness, Anderson, Keller, Cook, others over the years have served as long-term stewards of these homes. Their stories live on, these homes and the residents and the people who live there. From things like the Tiger Band playing on our front porch at one point, to the mischief that Miss Shanklin and Miss Sams used to get into after work. Plenty of countless other stories, and this history is still alive within the homes and the people who currently care for them. So protecting these homes isn't really just about nostalgia, although I do get it. I am very connected to these homes, but it's about protecting the living history of Clemson. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ethel Pettigrew.
Thank you for letting me speak today, and I probably cry, y'all know me. I'm Ethel Pettigrew. I live at 109 Hillcrest Avenue, and we are very much in favor of the overlays as they exist. We would love for you to add, as it's been stated, Hillcrest, North Clemson, at least part of North Clemson and Dargan Lane, or basically the north side of Addison, because those houses were some of the first houses built as the university threw the faculty off campus. They moved. My house is the oldest one right now. It was built in 1910. I live next door to Heather. I live next door to some wonderful neighbors. We would like to maintain our neighborhood, and it would be very hard if it were turned in. We understand we have a lot of rentals around us. We don't mind them. We live downtown because we want to. If somebody tried to come in and take our place, we have no place to go because there aren't any. So we just want y'all to respect the history of Clemson as it exists. That street, especially Hillcrest, has probably got the oldest houses short of being in the Calhoun district in town. And we'd like to see them protected. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chip Egan.
Thank you for this opportunity to address the council and to share some concerns with our neighbors as well. I feel like this is the dawn of a new era, and I love the way you put it in terms of this has been under discussion for 40 years, and so I think it's a fabulous development and puts us in a league of other towns and cities and communities that have taken the initiative to save their historic neighborhoods, to save their homes, and it makes those places extra special. So I think the wisdom of this is going to reflect really well on the council, and I'm very enthused about this happening. I would like to say that I think it's a little short-sighted to stop this overlay to the north of North Clemson and Hillcrest, and the Shanklin Sands green space, which is a beautiful park that operates not only as a wildlife sanctuary, but as a sound barrier and as a calming effect, even on the traffic on North Clemson. I think there's a different heartbeat that happens in that neighborhood because of that zone, the homes on North Clemson as well as Hillcrest and so on. I'm concerned that if the overlay doesn't include those, that means that planned development can happen on North Clemson. If you accumulate enough property, you can start a planned development. You can propose, a high-rise apartment building with a commercial first floor. And I think the problem with the Pine Street development, and I know it's coming back, is that's in the midst of a neighborhood. That is in the middle of a neighborhood, because the neighborhood includes Hillcrest and it includes North Clemson. And so I think we already know that Three Blue Stallions that bought the lot behind us tore the house that was there. A historic home, wasn't in very good shape, but they tore it down. And right now they're selling the space for football parking. But I have a feeling that that's the beginning, that's the anchor of more properties that are going to fall and be converted to planned development. So I think we're onto something really good. I just think it's a little short-sighted not to expand the overlay to include, as we heard, some of the most historic homes in Clemson, because I think the pressure on them for planned development is going to be extreme if we don't include them. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So those were the three that wrote in earlier, and the floor is yours. Just remember to sign in.
Thank you for letting me speak. Rupert 206 North Clemson Avenue. As Nathan pointed out in his earlier presentation, that roughly 70% of the people along North Clemson are student rental properties, or those properties, 70% are rental properties for students. Well, there's also the 30%. What about the 30%? That's the question. So, and I'm part of that 30%. That this is my primary property, and that's my perspective. But it's not just me. There are other people here in the audience that would like to be included in this protection. I think it's only fair that other homes, instead of just drawing a line down hedgerow, like a line in the sand, there has to be some flexibility. You have to say, well, historically, has there been a rental property there? For example, Joe Brown's house, never been a student rental. 5 other properties there, never student rental. Now, Charles, who owns a property next to me, 208 North Clemson, he wants to build a duplex. That's his, I know he's spoken with somebody here about that. So what I'm saying is that the residents that want to be protected and be like the guys on the north side of hedgerow, they should be given the option. You want to be in the protection zone or not? And let them decide. I know that there have been a lot of hours speaking with the residents. I've never had the chance to speak with anybody directly. You know, people call me up on the phone, but it's really, this is a big decision. Because this is historic Clemson we're talking about. My dad used to deliver newspapers on this street in 1930, because my family goes back here sometime. And so, just like in Nathan's presentation of the overlay and other documents, you notice how he always shows historic downtown Clemson. The kids out there playing, they've got balloons or eating ice cream. They're never showing kids out playing with balloons with mothers pushing baby carriages in front of a building like the Moto. You don't see that. Why? Because just like downtown Greenville, people love things that's historic. It's a tragedy when historic structures that represent the old America, this is our past, that they're torn down and replaced with structures that are really not that very beautiful. And a lot of people on hedgerow are getting offers around $2.5 million. I'm getting huge offers that you're sticking in your mailbox. So what's happening is the developers see Clemson as the next hot spot, North Clemson Avenue and Hillcrest as the next hot real estate. And so they're circling our neighborhood, and what's going to happen if people like Chip don't get up and speak, they're going to just gobble up that neighborhood, and it's almost like losing downtown Clemson. I mean, can you imagine having downtown Clemson just eradicated and let's put up modern buildings there like other modern structures in the area? So I'm saying that history is important, and also my arguments for the students. Students, where do they go for a run? Where do they go for a walk? They don't go running and walking with their girlfriends or guys. They don't go up and down College Avenue. They come down my street. They come down North Clemson because they want to get away. They want to feel like, hey, we're back in little town America, Andy Mayberry town. We love it here in Clemson. I don't love it here in Clemson. I mean, this is a special town. And when you take that away, well, it's not just the residents that live there, it's kind of like the feel people who want to get out and go for a walk or run. And Hedgerow Lane is probably the most beautiful lane, I think, in Clemson. And so I'm just saying be careful. And I'm saying that I recommend, just like Chip was saying, that there needs to be some flexibility. I would like to be included in the protected zone. Because he's done a great job with it, I think. This is a great idea. I mean, I'm giving compliments here, and I know Nathan always thinks I'm against development, but this is a great way to protect the residential neighborhoods. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is there a clock or something?
It's
It'll
up
be on the
there,
screen.
it's on both sides, or actually, 4 sides. Yeah, in front of you, left, right.
So I've got, what, 2 minutes?
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
4:59.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
My name is John Sims. My mom is Margaret Douglas, used to be Margaret Sims, who worked at Clemson Elementary School for years. I grew up over this way in the overlay 1 section on Pool Lane, and then when I was 18, we moved over to Folger Street in 1986, which is in the second overlay. I'm really surprised at how many, when I come back, I'm surprised at how much has changed, especially in the last 10 years. This whole thing about these enormous buildings going up is threatening. And when I walk down, I go down College Avenue now, it used to be like, okay, well, we're beside where the Astro Theater was, and they built that big thing, okay, but now across the street where there used to be houses, these great big things. And I know, like, these neighborhoods, the zoning is different for like the things right on College Avenue, but it's just disturbing what I'm seeing. And another thing is like just even the borders of it. So let's say, for example, in NC2, there's what I call the English Tudor House, which is at the corner of Edgewood and Wigington. That beautiful house with all the azaleas and everything. Okay. Well, across the street from that were some houses, and they're still there and everything, but all the stuff behind it, it was all turned into parking lots, and they've got these bright lights. And so when you walk around the English Tudor House anymore, you see that it doesn't feel like you're in a neighborhood. It feels like you're in sort of the edge of a commercial district. It just sort of spoils that whole magical feeling of this house. And even on our street, there's been some stuff that's like, I just didn't think anybody would ever do it, and they actually did it, and I just can't believe it. When I look at my old house, and I've seen pictures of it, but I haven't driven by because it looks so ugly in the pictures. They built something in this lot next to us. It comes right up next to the property lots. It looks ugly just looking to start with. It looks like crammed right as close to get it as lot as you can. So that's one thing, and I think, and they also looks like they scraped every tree off of over 2/3 of the property. Then our property next door, which was, when I grew up, had a bunch of trees in it. And this goes to go to the tree thing. And I see this. We had all these big trees, they've died, but nobody's replacing them. So we used to be like 8 great big trees. Now there's 1 big tree, 3 small ones, and nothing else. And people just seem to think when a tree dies, okay, it's dead, what can you do? And they don't think to replace it. And that needs to be something pushed forward. I grew up, when I joined the Navy, my first duty station was in San Diego, and I lived in a place called Coronado, which is across the bay from San Diego. And it was sort of isolated because you couldn't get to it easily. And so it had all these little cottages and stuff on it. It had a very nice charming quality to it. And then in about 1970, they built the bridge. And so more people started, it's so nice, it's so charming, blah, blah, they started moving out there. But then people were buying these charming little cottages and tearing them down and putting stuff on the lot, which is too big, not appropriate looking, blah, blah, blah. And it's just changing the whole character of it. The French Quarter in New Orleans, I lived there too, and that was, once mainly residential, now it's mainly tourist, not even just commercial, but tourist. And so this poison. And I feel especially bad for, like across from where the Astro Theater is, the place where I think Strode Circle meets up with College Avenue, and they're gonna tear down those houses, and there's that little creek that goes in front of the old house. I remember like going on a bus beside that, and passing that, and just thinking how lovely it was every time to see that beautiful creek going beside that house. And of course, I understand it's all gonna be like scraped. Creek's gonna be put in a tunnel, you're not gonna see that anymore. I just feel bad, especially for the people who are next to this stuff. Like the people on the backside on the Strode Circle who back up to this stuff on College Avenue. And now they got this great big bright thing with a bunch of lights right there. And just like not what they signed up for when 30 or 40 or whatever years was ago. we built our house. So I think our downtown is nice, it's got some special stuff, and if you just, if you don't put up some barriers, it's just gonna go. Because frankly, the developers, most of them are out of town, they don't give a shit, sorry, they don't give a hoot about us or anything. And they just want to make the money and, you know, scrape all the trees off and sell that, scrape all the topsoil off and sell that, put something on there, take their money, and they're out. And we're left with the consequences of that. So anyway, thanks much.
Thank you. It is slip it out now, but I agree, it becomes a habit.
Hi everybody, my name is Hunter Hanahan. First of all, thanks for letting us come out and speak tonight. Hunter Hanahan, I live at 109 Pool Lane and I sit on the board of architectural review. I think this overlay is a good start. It's something that's needed. People are frustrated. We've certainly seen and heard that over and over again. It's a good start. I do see a large blind spot in the Coldwater Springs side of things, and it's the 99 Wyatt parcel. And for those of you who don't know, it's down the hill from the intersection of Martin and Wyatt. You all probably know where it is, but it's just down the hill, right near our nice new sidewalk, just down the hill from that. And I'm confused about why that was left out. I understand that it is not a single-family residential parcel right now. It's units, it's townhouses, I would describe them. I did some quick math on those townhouses. There's 41 units, I assume that's about 100 beds. 4.7 acres, that's about 21 beds per acre. If you use college, or 398 College as a kind of, that's obviously the recent development that's on everybody's mind. That was 700 beds across 3.7 acres, so that gives you 189 beds per acre that was approved via a PD. So that kind of sets a precedent of what's acceptable. So 189 beds, right now, that lot is sitting at 21 beds per acre. That shows that there's development potential there of 9x, over 9x, of people coming up that hillside through what is being considered a protected overlay district. Through the overlay. To me, that's a very large oversight when we're talking about protecting the neighborhood, because a lot of the concerns of residents was traffic flow through the neighborhood from 398. And thankfully, everything from 398 is going directly out onto College. We can't control what happens if they want to bend back around and come through the neighborhood. Can't control that, but at least it's going out onto College Avenue. All the traffic from this potential development, I say potential, nobody knows, but it is ripe, I would say. It is a very low density, large parcel, right in downtown. If I had money and I was a developer, I'd be attracted to that more than likely. Maybe they already are, I don't know. But I'm just saying, let's expand the boundary, just include that parcel. There's no reason not to protect the neighborhood. Let's put a check in that box of commitment to protecting the neighborhood. Because right now, I think it's just a blind spot. It's a blind spot. And on the other side of town, you know, I'm speaking about Coldwater Springs. That's where I live. So that's my direct neighborhood. I hear the Sloan Poe folks. I haven't studied that side as much because I've been obviously looking at my side of College Avenue. I hear what they're saying. It is a skimpy boundary. You know, Mr. Egan, Ms. Pettigrew, I know these people from long ago, and I know their houses, and they are beautiful houses. And I want to challenge something that Mr. Wood said earlier, that the locations outside of the boundary, protected boundary, would be governed by zoning. That's true unless it's a PD, right? If it was large enough to be a PD, it would not be subject to zoning. It would then be subject to, well, there is nothing subject to at that point. So that is one thing that makes me nervous. If we can expand that boundary on the Sloan Poe side as well, I think that makes a lot of sense for all the reasons that the folks on the other side of town have stated ahead of me. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you letting us come out.
Thank you.
Mary Hawk. I'm a resident at 114 Strode Circle in the Cold Springs neighborhood. My input tonight will be limited to one critical issue, and that is access to our neighborhoods. Access to the two neighborhoods in question have been severely compromised through increasingly intense traffic on both College Avenue and 123 over the years. I propose that you resolve to keep Kiwi Trail open. For years, residents of these neighborhoods have relied on Kiwi Trail to safely access our homes. It is of utmost importance for our health and safety that Kiwi Trail be reopened when the construction on the hub project finishes. If you truly intend to facilitate the stability of our neighborhoods, you will include this vital access corridor. I will give you a detailed explanation of how Kiwi Trail plays such a vital role as a pressure release valve for our neighborhoods on both a daily and an emergency basis. Anyone who ever shops at Chick-fil-A or any of the shops along that section of 123 knows how impossible it usually is to make a left-hand turn back onto 123. It makes a lot more sense and is much safer and saves time for everyone in those lines of cars to re-enter 123 using a right-hand turn, drive to the next stoplight, turn around in the spacious parking lot adjacent to Cross Point Church, use the stoplight there to safely re-enter 123 to make a left turn. Once you're back on 123, we wait and wait and wait and wait to get through the stoplight at the major intersection at 123 and College Avenue. The entrance to Kiwi Trail is situated so that making a right-hand turn there saves about 5 minutes on every trip, and many people make multiple trips daily through that area. It also minimizes the pressure on a very dangerous intersection of 123 and College Avenue. It also reduces air pollution and road rage of the people standing in those long lines waiting to get through that intersection. During emergency situations, when there is a wreck at that intersection, Kiwi Trail is especially important as a pressure valve, but not just in emergency situations, really on a daily basis. It's immensely important to our neighborhoods. So there's no sense in even living in our neighborhoods if we can't get to our homes in a reasonable and safe way. So I'd just like to end by saying that in addition to serving our neighborhoods, many other people use that shortcut to get to downtown, to get to the university, and with the opening of these 3 major student housing projects that are underway and opening soon, we will have all of those thousands of students who can use that access safely to get back to their residences as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bob Brookover, 254 Riggs. A comment and then a suggestion. First, I don't think, I'm okay with most of what's going on in this neighborhood overlay. I think it's a little bit of trying to defuse a bomb after it's gone off, because most of the things that this protects from have already happened. There's not that many more lots that can be divided and that kind of thing. There's been some creative drawing of boundary lines on splitting lots, and there's been a few things with ADUs that maybe shouldn't have happened in the past as well. So, applying the rules as they should have been could have taken care of some of this in the past. The other thing is that from a neighborhood protection and a character perspective, and this is clearly outlined in Clemson Next and Uptown Next, which were the first professional planning efforts that we've had in the city in the last 40 or 50 years, clearly shows, and what this doesn't address is protecting the neighborhood character from having 5 to 8 story buildings directly adjacent to single family residential housing. And I am not against higher density things happening, but again, at Clemson Next and Uptown Next, that framework clearly showed, for example, on Knox Lane, that 3-story buildings with bigger setbacks where that level of intensity came down as it came towards the neighborhood. So I think you need to do something there. My suggestion is this. This is a little bit like having a voluntary, not an involuntary HOA in this case. I think, again, given that there's 200 or so houses on my side of the neighborhood and probably about the same over there, I think that you should put this out to a vote. You can send certified letters to every homeowner there with a ballot that asks, are you in favor of this? And I think a secondary question of, should North Clemson Avenue, Darden, and Hillcrest be included? And go with the majority rules on that. Because what will happen, again, as Hunter pointed out, potentially with another area, and someone else pointed out with North Clemson Avenue, if that's not protected from being a PD, and those folks in the room that live on, Dogwood and Folger, PD comes, you've got a 5 to 8 story building behind you on North Clemson Avenue now, you're not probably gonna be real happy with your property on Dogwood that's been there forever. And when that R20 and R12 zoning changes from single family to super high density. So I think it'd be pretty simple. You're talking about having to send out 400 certified letters with ballots in it to let the residents vote on those things, and including those, the North Clemson Avenue properties in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. TJ Grove, Crest Circle, off of Shorecrest, if you don't know. But just out of curiosity, Nathan, fabulous job. I think everything looks great. But my house is on 206, and it backs up to the Edgewood Arms development right there. And as you can see, look at the records, parcels are starting to get bought up back there. I was just curious, when it comes to that, it is obviously not in the overlay. I understand development comes, but is there a reason why that is not, other than that it's not a single family dwelling by chance? Or obviously it might not be a question and answer time, but some other time could I?
There'll be time for that later. Yep.
Cool. I just wanted to put it out there that that block is just sitting there adjacent, and would prefer not to have a 5 or 8 story building right behind my back door. So that's about it. But thank y'all for the time.
Thank you.
Good evening. I want to say hello to all the neighbors that are here. I did not plan to come speak. Some of you know I haven't been here for a long time because I just kind of gave up. But after hearing my neighbors speak, I felt like I had to come up and say something. I live at on 510 Shorecrest Drive, Donna Crater, and I've been there for 27 years. I've been in Clemson since 1977, so I do have a history with the city. And I've seen a lot of change, some of it good, but I'm beginning to feel like I have a noose tied around my neck, and I'm being strangled from traffic. students who don't watch where they're going when I'm trying to cross at the light. Traffic coming through the neighborhood just exponentially. I was at the park the other day. There was traffic all the way back up to Fort Hill Church and beyond, coming down. This was not Sunday morning. Beyond, there was traffic coming up from College Avenue, and nobody could move. It was just tight. Coming tonight again, there was another bottleneck. And I think we've just kind of gotten to the point, there are some senior citizens that live downtown, and it's gotten dangerous. And the students don't pay any attention to the traffic lights to a large degree, or to what's going on around them. So I'm fearful, and you've heard me say this before, I'm fearful that I'm going to be one that takes out a student unintentionally. I'd like to speak to extending the overlay. I would hate to see higher density along North Clemson Avenue. It has become a speedway. North Clemson Avenue, Wigington, Folger, Sloan Street, and down to College Avenue. I'd like to see that taken care of. I just add 10 minutes to my trips anymore to make up for all the time spent down there at College Avenue. And there didn't used to be cars stacking up on, and I'm not sure what the name is, Shorecrest Edgewood, that little street that goes down to College Avenue. But they are stacked back, so oftentimes you don't get through that light the first time. They're stacked back on that street, and they're stacked back, as I said, up to the church again. So I've addressed the traffic. I'd like to see that addressed. And I'd like to see the speedway not come through our neighborhood. I'd also like to see, or maybe should ask, what the situation is with the all-stop procedures at College Avenue, because we're going to have one in order to handle the traffic. I guess I feel like we've had all this new development, and it's a lot. Everything looks new, but yet I have to dodge the potholes on my street when we were promised street repairs back in probably 2000. And we've gotten used to them, but I wonder, where's the tax money going? And mine isn't the only street that needs repairs. We can go down North Clemson Avenue and see the same thing. I feel like $500 is a small amount to pay for taking out a tree. It costs about $1,500 to take one down. Seems to me like we should up the ante a little bit and maybe discourage people from removing them. And also I'm concerned about the height. This came up at one of the meetings recently. If we don't limit the height for anything that's built along North Clemson Avenue, then it is going to be just a bad thing. I guess what I'm saying is, I think if somebody has lived downtown for a long time, it's been an awful lot of change in a very short amount of time. And I don't think our brains are wired to take it all in. I don't think they're wired to take all the traffic in. I'd like to see the overlay extended. I too mourn the loss of access to Kiowee Trail. And I want to just say, let's vote. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. I tune in online. I actually get more out of the meeting. I can hear better, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crater.
Good afternoon, Carlos Garcia. I'm one of the newest neighbors in downtown Clemson. I live in 104 Pool Lane, and I know many of you. I took some time to read the fine print of all this, and I'm concerned about the little details. So when we talk about preserving historic trees, I tried to find the definition of what a historic tree is for the city of Clemson. I was not able to find it. I found several other codes that define a historic tree in a very different way. It's not the same thing to take a hardwood tree versus a sweet gum tree, that we have plenty of them in downtown Clemson. So I just would like to encourage this regulation, which is great. I'm all for it. But to be a little bit more precise, the devil is in the details, and I want to make sure that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. The other thing that I see in the regulation is that it provides guidance to trace property lines perpendicular to the street line. That works great if your street is flat or straight, but if you don't, it could create some problems. So there should be some other considerations in the regulation so we don't start building too much regulation on something that it should help neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. It's great to be here. Nathan, I think the concept here is fantastic. We need to protect the classic Clemson. And when you look behind you here tonight, these are my neighbors. They're voters. We're a small group, but we are what people think neighborhoods fortunately do. I think the old man always comes and says, you can do whatever you want, just don't do it in my backyard. I live on Folger Street, and the line of demarcation is my backyard. And I think about my neighbors on Hillcrest and Dargan. They're kind of cut off in this deal. And am I right that North Clemson is still zoned as
R20 and R12.
okay, residential? So we've got college students, and if you don't think that's an issue already, come on a Thursday night, and I think you'll find out that's different. But we are more than just neighbors. These are the custodians of old Clemson. These are the people who are stakeholders. We're few in number, but that's the beautiful part of Clemson, and we're already booked in on both ends of North Clemson as it stands now. So please consider seriously adding the North Clemson corridor, which includes above there, to be covered, because that's still part of it. We don't want North Clemson to look like 93 or College Avenue. And if this development moves like it possibly could and we can't protect it, now's the time to do that, not later. There's already properties along North Clemson that are in question. And so please protect it for us. I think it will make Clemson more beautiful and it will be better. And it's a small minority of folks that are affected by this, but the entire city benefits from having that beautiful street. And I think it's kind of a shame that we've allowed parts of North Clemson to become what it is already. But for those who are residents and those who live nearby, and for everybody who calls Clemson home, this needs to be protected to include all the way to Hillcrest, where those are the most historic of all the homes. And you talk about keeping the character of Clemson, it starts with North Clemson. So thank you for your time, thank you for your consideration, and I believe almost to a person, everyone here would agree with that. And remember, we're just the custodians of the historic, beautiful Clemson that we all know and love. So let's protect it now so that we don't have to fight this fight later. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, Valerie McCormick. I live at 220 North Clemson Avenue, and I just about rather get a poke in the eye than be up in front of a bunch of people. But I see a lot of my neighbors here, and we've all, talking amongst ourselves. And I know you said that there's so much in that North Clemson corridor that are rentals, and we're aware of that. And I think that most of us have come to live with that. I live next to a frat house, so, and we get along, but I feel like there are vultures circling our neighborhood. I get constant unsolicited offers for my house. I know my neighbors have too. And it just feels like without some protection, we're gonna get gobbled up and things are just gonna go badly awry. And having that, these are some old houses. Joe Brown, my neighbor, was born in that house. And it just feels like a community that, it's kind of a head scratcher that we're like right in the middle of this overlay and this overlay, and here's all of these wonderful old houses. Steve Martin is across the alleyway from me. After Helene came through, everybody in that neighborhood worked ferociously to get our houses and our trees and everything back to being its beautiful old neighborhood self. And I just would like to appeal to all of you to consider Ethel Pettigrew on Hillcrest and Rupert McGinty and myself and those that live in that corridor and love, and we know we live next to rental properties. And I don't know if that's something that can be kind of grandfathered in, you know, or whatever. That's a question I could have later, but getting that protection for that, I think, is critical right now in this point in time when developers just seem like they're vultures. And I would just like to ask you to think about adding that to the overlay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Debbie Harding. I live at 109 Dargan Lane. We purchased our home in the early 90s, and we purchased it for our children to live in while they were at Clemson, go to school, with the intent of us retiring here, which is what we did. We've been here for 12 years now, and we love our neighborhood, and we really, I mean, you can't say that because a house is a rental that it's going to always be a rental. I mean, we bought ours intending to retire here, and so I think when you list the number of rentals as 70%, you've got to really kind of gauge that a little bit, and I think that can't be just a hard and fast rule. So, thank you.
Thank you. I know we have one more for sure. We're approaching the 6:30 time frame, so if you have something new to present, please, this is your opportunity. So we're gonna end this in about 10 minutes, just to make sure it's something new that comes in, because we do need to start our city council meeting a little bit after 6:30. Yes, sir.
Okay, Al Hodges, 100 and 101 Strode Circle. I think Nathan and Jacob done a heck of a job. My wife and I spent probably an hour and a half in his office going over things. We don't always agree, but who does these days? And plus I want to thank the city for sidewalks. We've tested the Riggs Drive sidewalks last few days. We've got a few moguls, kind of like on the Olympics, but basically it keeps you out of the path of college kids with their texting as they go by. Regarding, Nathan presented a really nice fact sheet at the meeting he gave us last week. And what we heard was no PDs. That should be carved in stone somewhere above this city council desk. There's 24 lots, I believe you mentioned, that may be of concern. I have one of those. I have a 30,000 square foot lot I can plant tomatoes on, but that's about it for city regulations. But that's not the immediate problem. He discussed neighborhood character, desire to protect the unique identity of our streets. Well, as of this past Monday morning at 7:15, the character of Riggs Drive changed drastically when that little machine they have that grabs a tree, slices it, and a huge track hoe hauls it out of the way. That changed our whole Riggs Drive approach drastically. Then the next one was commercial boundaries, anxiety over mixed-use developments creeping into residential areas. 398 is 20 feet across Riggs Drive from my property with no physical barriers. They saved 4 trees. I understand there will be planting future trees, but I don't see any 50-foot canopy trees in my lifetime appearing at 398 Riggs Drive. Also, they're going to tear down the ancient Morrison home and what used to be Allen's Creations. Planning Commission used a rubber stamp. They didn't even discuss the fact that they were going to change from a 3-story wood structure to a 70,000 square foot, 5-story building. It's gonna have like a 10-foot buffer from Strode Circle, and will be right up against Knox Road. And of course, just up Knox Road, I have Moda, which is also right across 11-foot alley from my property at 101. So the next one was environmental loss, concerns about the loss of mature tree canopies and changes to topography. Again, now you look back to Monday morning at 7:15 when the trees started falling, all the mature trees. I know you gotta chop trees down, but did it have to be that big? Do we have to have 760 college kids right now? And I know that all the presentations say we have to have the students in walking distance of campus. That's great when they walk, but they also drive. We all know that they go everywhere and anytime, day or night. Now that all the trees are gone, I have a much better view of College Avenue, and plus all the noise on College Avenue. We now call it the College Avenue drag strip, for lack of a better term to it. It is the noisiest place in town, I do believe. But also the last of his points was construction impact, a strain of disruptions in nearby construction sites. Today, the sidewalk pretty much is finished, but now we have various construction vehicles running up and down Riggs Drive, occasionally blocking traffic. There's no real buffer between 398 and my house, and there'll be little or none when 400 pops up with this 5-story building. There was no environmental preservation there. But I basically agree with everything the overlay says, other than the fact that it didn't do a darn thing to protect my neighborhood. We have lost all the trees. We are going to totally redo the design. The 24 lots that may be affected by this may be good for them. But anyway, another thing, I've talked to the police chief several times about the noise on College Avenue, and he insists that if he had additional police officers, he could do something about it. But I guess that's on city council to add additional police officers. But I do wish the city would have some type of noise ordinance. Downtown Greenville has one saying, do not be stupid in the city of Greenville when you're driving down Main Street there. We need something to try to convince our fellow citizens that you do not need to go to 8,000 RPM on your motorcycle when you go from downtown to 143. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else new? Donna, that would be, actually, that would be for city council and only one time tonight. I'm gonna put this out there. If there's anything new, this is your last chance, but you have access to everybody up here on city council at any time, from emails to cell phones. We live in the neighborhoods. You can contact us anytime. Also, I want to commend our planning department. You have some of the team, you actually have the whole team here pretty much, and also our city leaders. They're accessible, but they've put a lot of work into this as well. So if you have any questions, any concerns, you can always reach out. I know Nathan mentioned that earlier with one comment that you were asking, you can specifically ask. And I know for a fact our city leaders respond, and also city council members. So please, please, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to serve. Is there anything new? Okay, well, I appreciate everybody coming out and expressing themselves. Thank you for coming out on this evening. You're more than welcome to stay for our normal regular city council meeting, but I understand we have families at home. Enjoy the family time. Thank you for being here. We're gonna break for about 10 minutes. We'll start at 6:45.
sometimes.
I'll look for the light. All right. For the ones that have been here, welcome back. The ones that are here new, welcome. I hope you had a good weekend. We'll start our regular city council meeting. It is 6:45, March 2nd, 2026. We'll call this meeting in order, and first we'll start off with the invocation and pledge allegiance. Councilmember Fulmer.
Would you join me in prayer? In light of the military actions that have began this past weekend, let us keep all of those whose lives is at risk and their families in our thoughts and prayers. At the same time, let's remember and be thankful for those city employees and first responders who are there for us at all times. And finally, we ask for wisdom and guidance as we deliberate today, and may our work serve all our residents with integrity and purpose. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. All right. It's funny. Again, more people on one side of the room. I love it. It just happens this way. Okay, it's all good. So we're honored to do our last proclamation for Black History Month, and Mr. Gaines. He's hiding right there. I see him. Yes, sir. Saw him Saturday night, so good to see you again. So glad you were here. I know that last time there was a basketball game, so that took priority. You understand. So I'm going to read this proclamation, and then if you get a chance, come on up, and then we'll go from there. So this is a proclamation of recognition of service for Earl Gaines, whereas Earl Gaines is originally from Anderson, but moved to Clemson in 1995 with his wife, where they raised 5 children. Whereas he's known as pastor to some, Coach Gaines to others, indicating his contribution to the community through ministry and athletics. Whereas Coach Gaines has begun his ministry as a member of Mount Sinai World Outreach Ministries, serving in the Pendleton, Georgia, and Spartanburg locations. Whereas he's been preaching since 1995, initially serving as associate minister for 7 years. He's also served as a spiritual advisor for the Clemson University Gospel Choir and began an outreach ministry that provided Bible study and food drives for students. Whereas Mr. Gaines has a heart for the youth, beginning his coaching career with the Clemson Central Rec Department since 2001, where he gained a love and respect from the community, leading to his recruitment to the D.W. Daniel High School football staff in 2008 and the girls basketball program in 2009. Whereas he's also served as the head coach of the PT Cruisers AAU boys 10th grade team and his girls 10th grade team, even leading the girls team to South Carolina's first national championship in 2013. He retired from AAU with three top 15 national finishes and 2 being in the top 3. Whereas today, Coach Gaines is an assistant coach with the Daniel High School girls varsity basketball and football programs, and associate pastor alongside his brother at Glory Outreach Christian Ministries in Anderson. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfiger, Mayor of the City of Clemson, on behalf of the Clemson City Council, do recognize Pastor and Coach Earl Gaines for his mentorship to our youth and larger community through his dedication to ministry and athletics. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and have caused this great seal of the city to be affixed the 16th day, well, we're saying the 60th, all right, the 2nd day of March 2026. Congratulations, Coach Gaines.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, sir.
Tall people in the back.
Long time no see. I know it's good to see you. There you go, yes, sir. There you go. All right, you okay if we get a picture around you? There we go, there we go. Then we'll get family and friends.
We all just
Family photos?
Family, come up. Yeah. Yeah, come on up. He's a repeater.
He's a repeater.
Trying to be as cool as you.
How's it going? Picture of you. You'll make sure you have fun here.
Okay.
Would you like to say something, Coach? Yeah.
I just want to thank the city council, to everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to come, to be here tonight. And I thank each and every one of y'all. The work that I've done in the community, it was something to show that we all need to put our hand forth to go forth and help the young people and provide an excellent community and good leaders in the past. I thank each and every one of y'all. I appreciate y'all. This means a lot. I didn't know I was getting this. I didn't know, but to God be the glory. Ms. Smith, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. You was a part of the PT crew with me, and they brought me along in the PT crew organization. And after that, I carried it on when they left. And then they retired, and it was time for me to retire. And I thank each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all. God bless.
We have one other proclamation I'm going to read very quickly. The principal for Clemson Elementary was going to be here, but unfortunately could not be here. But this is the it's this week, obviously, the National School Breakfast Week, March 2nd through 6th of 2026. Whereas the school breakfast program, permanently established in 1975, provides nutritional balanced breakfasts to more than 15 million children across 91,000 schools and institutions in the U.S. Whereas the school breakfast program meets nutritional needs of children, improves food security, and promotes health, learning, and development by providing nutritional balanced breakfast to school children every day. Whereas 17% of children in South Carolina are food insecure and face hunger. Whereas school-aged children who experience hunger are more likely to be absent from school, visit the school nurse, experience more challenges than children with a nutritious diet, and skipping breakfast has consistently been linked with worse academic and health outcomes for children. Whereas eating breakfast improves children's overall diets, healthy lifestyle, lifelong eating habits, and enhances their ability to learn and perform academically. Whereas making breakfast a part of the school day, commonly known as breakfast after the bell, and offering breakfast at no cost are effective ways to ensure more students realize the benefits of breakfast. Whereas 46.8 million breakfast meals were served in South Carolina in 25 through the Healthy School Meals for All, and participate in the federal community eligibility provision, reaching over 277,000 students. Whereas parents, caregivers, teachers, and school food personnel all play an essential role to ensure the children of Clemson have the basic resources needed to grow, learn, and discover their own potential and live happy, fulfilling lives. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfing, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do proclaim this week as School Breakfast Week and encourage all residents of Clemson to recognize and commemorate school administrators, school nutrition directors, cafeteria staff who operate school breakfast programs to ensure the health, safety, and success of our children. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Clemson to be affixed this second day of March 2026. All right, we can clap. All right. So next, we will go straight into public session. I will turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Public session is time that's made available for anybody in attendance to speak about any item that is not already on the agenda. If you would like to speak about something that is on the agenda, we will provide time to do so. When we get to that point, we like to do that to keep it top of mind when we're on the topic so we don't forget what might be said earlier in the meeting. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person, must be directed to City Council as a body. Comments must be limited to issues within City Council's jurisdiction, and speakers may not speak on behalf of others, donate, transfer, or yield time. So the floor is open for the public. And Jeremiah, did we have any sign-ups?
No sign-up.
Okay, thank you. While I wait to see if there's any comments, we did have one submitted via the My Civic app. These are provided to council ahead of time, also printed out for them as well. This comes from Miss Stephanie Platt on Mountain View Lane. She writes, "Good evening. I would like to ask when the 250th birthday of America banners will be put up. I was told the city was planning to purchase them. I would think this would be a long year celebration. Also, I want to express how disappointed I am for not receiving my clarification on a statement a council member read publicly at a past meeting. I did receive emails, but no clarification. I think if a citizen asks something, it needs to be addressed." And again, that's from Ms. Platt at Mountain View Lane. I would encourage the public, we have our phone numbers listed on the website, our email addresses, so anytime you guys have questions, we are very happy to do that, grab a coffee, anything like that. So just like to point that out. And I'll leave the floor open for another moment for public comment. Okay, Mayor, I don't see anybody running up.
All right, we'll close up.
Excuse our guests.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll say it again. I always say, you're more than welcome to stay, but we understand you got family time, so if you'd like to leave, I'm not saying you have to leave, so there you go. But we appreciate you being here. There you go, there you go, there you go. Love it, all right. All right. So just as a reminder too, someone brought this to my attention after our public hearing at 5:30. I will say it very loud and clearly. ADA listening devices are available up here and also on the video. That is very clear, at least the times I've heard it. So if you ever cannot hear one of us on city council, please, I don't want you to have to go replay the video, but it is on the video. And I feel like our voices are carried pretty well on the video. And I'm looking at Jeremiah, last time I listened to it, it sounded pretty clear. So, with that said, next is the possible approval of minutes for February 16th at 26.
So moved. Second.
All right, any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll go into reports, discussion. Just a reminder, it's a 2-minute limit per speaker. First is to discuss a franchise fee agreement with Wire 3. Allie's going to take this one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So, as you all are aware, South Carolina law allows for municipalities to impose a franchise fee on utility providers that are using our right-of-ways, and we can't say no, it's just part of the process. So we have a new fiber internet provider that's looking into moving into Clemson, and I have representatives from Wire 3 that are going to present and tell you a little bit more about their company.
Come on up. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Jay Ramachandran. I'm the CEO and founder of Wire 3. We started in 2021 in Central Florida, building out fiber optic networks to serve citizens in the communities that we build in. To date, we've built to about 200,000 homes throughout the South. As you can see on the map, a lot of markets in Florida, but we're expanding here into Georgia and South Carolina. Happy to answer any questions you might have. I would add that so far our staff has been in touch with Mayor Hatfinger, with the mayor's office. Couldn't have been a more warm response. Dan, who's over there, in government relations, and our construction team have had a wonderful experience. It's the sort of thing that we want to keep expanding to communities like Clemson that support us in that way.
Well, I will say on that, and thank you.
Yeah.
But it's also our city leaders. It's more our city leaders. Yeah. And I will not point, but Brood, Allie, and Andy. I know Nathan. All three of them I know were part of that meeting, so I appreciate them taking the time and energy to listen about your company. So.
That's really it. We're happy to be a part of the community here in Clemson. The one thing I would add is we don't just come into communities and build our networks. We try to become a lasting part of the community. In communities we've served in the past, we've partnered with food banks, we've partnered with Habitat for Humanities, we've partnered with SMA Health, which is a mental health service. Anyone who hears me talk in my personal life knows I'm very passionate about food, housing, and mental health for people that need the help within communities. Wire 3 can be a partner in your community for that as well. We are a for-profit company, obviously, but we're trying to be part of, make the communities we serve a better place.
Thank you for sharing that. Questions? Comments? Yes.
Is it doing air fiber or are you doing underground?
Both. Where we can get aerial permits to go on the poles, we will do that. It's, quite frankly, it's cheaper and less disruptive. Where we can't, we won't get approval to be on every single pole. We will go underground in those areas. Won't lie, that is a messy process, but we do our best to clean up after ourselves.
Thank you.
I saw that you're in Anderson and Carroll. How do you choose the markets that you go into?
Sure. We look, our big qualifying factor is competition. We don't mind competing against the phone company and the cable company, but we don't want to compete against anyone else. Second, and is the reason I mentioned the city staff is welcoming city staff. We walked into cities before that clearly weren't supportive of our builds, and so we look for the warm handshake on the way in. That's a big part of it.
So would it be all of Clemson?
Our plan right now is to build all of Clemson.
And so how would, say for instance, customer service, where would you be located? How would customers get in touch with you?
That's a good question. Right now, most of our customers are in Florida, and our customer service is in Florida. Our plan as we continue to expand, Clemson is one of the first markets we're expanding to in South Carolina, is to move customer service close to where the customers are that we serve. We like being nice, fast, local, and reliable customer service. We realize that means expansion and adding jobs in the local community, not just customer service, which is a phone job, but also field service, sales, construction management. For Clemson, I believe this is a $20 million project just to build here in the city. As I'm sure the city public works department can tell you, underground utility construction and aerial utility construction is an expensive venture. We add jobs, not just temporary jobs that are construction related, but permanent jobs, field service, customer service, sales, and installation support. We try our best, partially because it's in our best interest, to hire locally for all those jobs.
Other comments? Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate the CEO being here.
Yeah. That's huge. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
We'll express the same thing. You're more than welcome to stay, but, oh, y'all figured it out. All right, there you go, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll bring forward the franchise fee agreement we have to wait to get the final notice from the state when they're able to move forward. But we will be recommending a 5% franchise fee, which is in line with the other competitors in the market.
Thank you.
What's the expected revenue for that 5% franchise fee? Do we have any idea what the range will be?
Yeah, it just varies on how many subscribers they're able to generate. So it's based off of their revenue.
And that goes directly to our general budget. Okay.
All right, appreciate it. All right, next we'll go into a presentation from Ms. Clemson. I love y'all being here, Dale. I think you're going to take the lead on this.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. We were a little behind, but we're catching back up. So we appreciate y'all's patience.
Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate this council every year for everything that you do for us.
Please reintroduce yourself, because I know some know you, some do
Well,
not.
I'm Dale Maddox, and I serve as the executive director for the board of directors for the Miss Clemson pageant. I've been with Miss America this year for 40 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, a lot. But it's the 10-year anniversary since the city's been sponsoring this event for us, and we've got a lot going on, to celebrate, not just with the 250th anniversary this year of our country, but This is the 105th anniversary of Miss America, and this is the 89th anniversary of Miss South Carolina being involved with Miss America organization. So we're very excited for all the things on the horizon and things to come. And it was, you know, Mother Nature threw us a curveball this year. We had to totally cancel our whole program because of the snow. But here's the great thing, the 10 years that y'all have been providing these young women these opportunities to represent this community and to be on that perform with Miss America stage, we have won Miss South Carolina every time it snowed. So we have won a total of
No pressure.
3 times for men.
No pressure at all, Dale, geez.
Twice for the teams. But you know what? I said, everybody was looking at it as a bad
No
omen.
problem.
I said, no, this is a good luck charm. So we're excited, and I was smart this year, you know, with the world evolving in the 21st century with social media and everything. It was something that was beyond my control. So I'm going to turn it over now to a woman I am so thankful to have on our board. She's a Clemson alumni. She's a real estate pioneer in the upstate, but Pam Merritt.
The girls are gonna come with me.
Sounds great.
You can do, yeah, that way y'all can do your introductions.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Pam Merritt, and as Dale said, I've been a part of this Clemson community for a long time. I call it my second home because I'm here all the time because I love it. I am the director of social media for Miss Clemson Teen, and I do all the platforms, all the social media posts, and guide all of these girls too on what they post to make sure that they are, you know, posting things that are appropriate. If they need guidance, I'll help them do that. If they need suggestions, I'll help them do that. I also host a television show on a national network, on the American Dream Television Network. And this year, because now that I'm a part of this board, I want to incorporate all of this into that national platform that I have. My social media is geared to a more national network, and the show that I host gets broadcast on multiple national, like YouTube TV and things like that. And so I'm involved with, I'm on the Clemson Alumni, Women's Alumni Council also, and a part of Bring Your Daughter to Clemson. And so this year we're gonna pull these girls into Bring Your Daughter to Clemson, and I'm gonna film it for the television show. So it will be on national TV. So that is a big part of my initiative this year, is to get more exposure for Clemson in general. So I'm going to let each one of the girls introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about their initiatives. We'll start with you, Taylor.
Well, good evening. I am Taylor Barron, and I am honored to be Miss Tigertown 2026 and represent the city of Clemson at Miss South Carolina this year. My community service initiative personally is enforcing red lights, and that focuses on raising awareness for human trafficking and providing safety education to our youth. My goal to do this is to get involved with community organizations along with schools and to provide that education to the students and help students to understand what they can do to protect themselves, but to also provide tools to parents so they have what they need to have a proactive conversation with their kids.
Before, real quickly, and you were at the game yesterday. I saw you at the game yesterday. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
Go Tigers. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elena Campbell, and I'm just so grateful for this opportunity that y'all have provided for us. And I just want to say a big thank you to the Council of Clemson and Mayor Halfaker. My name is Elena Campbell, and I'm your Miss Pickens County Teen 2026. My community service initiative is a song to remember, which is dementia advocacy through music and service. My grandpa has dementia, and I see how much it affects my life and my family's life. I know many families around Clemson, their lives are also affected by family members with dementia. I would really love to get into more nursing homes and spread more awareness about dementia to hopefully find a cure, because I see how much it affects a lot of loved ones around me and many other families. But I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to have this opportunity.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here tonight and to speak to you and for everything that you do for the city of Clemson. My name is Jenna Huggins, and I'm your new Miss Clemson 2026. And it's such an honor and privilege to be able to represent this great city. I'm currently a marketing and biology student at Clemson University with aspirations to attend dental school post-grad. I'm also a proud member of the Rally Cat dance team, the pre-dental club, a sorority, and many other organizations on campus. Clemson has not just grown me academically and professionally, but has really played a critical role in shaping me into the young woman that I am today. Tonight we are here representing the Miss America organization, which is the largest scholarship organization for young women in America. That, along with the Miss South Carolina organization, works to empower us as leaders and really works to empower us to serve our communities. My community service initiative is More Than a Smile, which is where I am working to expand education and preventative care around oral health to children in underserved communities. As a pre-dental student, I am very passionate about oral health, and I've recently been able to turn my platform into my own nonprofit. I've been able to partner with the South Carolina Oral Health Department, America's Tooth Fairy, and many local dentists in the upstate as well in the low country. With this, I am currently creating my own smile kits and going into schools all across South Carolina as well as in Clemson and passing these essentials out to these children. Unfortunately, tooth decay is the #1 disease seen in children, especially children that come from low-income families. It is my goal that every child, no matter their zip code, has the tools and education that they need to maintain a healthy smile. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to be here tonight and for the opportunity to represent this great city. And thank you for your support, and I just ask for your prayers as I prepare to take the Miss South Carolina stage in June. Thank you, and go Tigers.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm your new Miss Clemson Team 2026, Stella Lindler. Thank you, Mayor Halfacre and the City Council for having all of us today. I am so excited to represent Clemson, the city of Clemson, this June in the Miss America organization on the Miss South Carolina stage, and I just can't wait. My CSI, my community service initiative, is Palmetto Paws, and it brings awareness to service dogs that help with people that have mental illnesses or just they're struggling with their wellness or anything like that. And I'm currently partnering with K9 Warriors, and I'm really excited about that, and thank y'all for having me.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much for having me and all my sister queens to allow us to represent Clemson at Miss South Carolina and Miss South Carolina's teen. I am McKenna Forster, and I'm your Miss Tigertown Teen 2026. I'll be representing the city of Clemson on the Miss South Carolina teen stage with my CSI, My Voice, My Choice, helping others grow confident in their own skin. It's all about helping all generations, younger and older, grow in their confidence, because over social media and the beauty standards that we have, and having people yourself and what you put into the world, empower yourself and your story and others around you. This is your story, so write it however you want. Own up to your actions and your decisions, because it shapes you into who you are. Uniqueness, you're unique, everybody is, so show them. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. I appreciate you.
You're good. Good job, ladies.
We're very excited for these young ladies again, and we can't thank y'all enough. They're all very excited about serving this community and doing everything they can to make an impact on it. You know, it's funny, you look at these young ladies now and you talk about growth and development, and they're, so young. But just to know that, like Jennifer, for example, and I'll use her to say, she's never done a pageant before in her life. And she got voted in by her sorority to be in Miss Clemson University, and she won Miss Clemson University. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, excuse me, Mother Nature, she wins Miss Clemson. But all these girls, this is all about growth and development, and the greatest accolade of all this is the opportunity they will have as far as service goes and serving Clemson. So please know them. They are your ambassadors. They are here, and they are here to serve this great city of Clemson that we all, like Pam said it best, this is our home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert with us.
Just know that's part of it.
Stood up for anyone else did.
We'll let y'all stand in the middle and we'll go around.
We have some tall folks too, so they'll go.
I gotta ask you around the
Tiaras.
Yes.
Are you one of those that does that little kind of flip thing when they
Yes, sir.
Are you really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The no-handed cartwheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's hard bounce. It's never really hard.
You never know it was hard. There we go. Feeling good.
All right, we're gonna get the marquee in. All right, we're gonna count it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pam, are you behind me taking pictures?
I am. They will get posted.
Yeah, and get ready, because Pam's got some great things to showcase the city of Clemson she's gonna incorporate, so you're gonna be seen all over. And one of the greatest compliments I get all the time, from everybody that I know in this organization after 40 years, they all say, Clemson is the best preliminary, the best city in the state of South Carolina. I said, you're right, we are.
Good PR.
Good luck. No
Great
pressure.
PR.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
That's a great omen with the
Okay,
snow.
When I saw you, I saw you down there.
Darn it.
Fleeing in here before, have we?
I don't think we've ever had 5.
No, I haven't, I only had maybe 2, 3 at the most. So this is.
Bye, ladies.
I love it. So fun.
Huh? I've never heard of it, to be honest with you. I don't
So
know.
next on the agenda is Chief, and you notice the crowd is getting smaller and smaller. Not a reflection of you, Chief. Not at
I
all.
could have made it be real small, real fast, if you wanted to.
Tell us about the mutual aid agreement that we've
Yes,
done in
sir,
the
Mr.
past.
Mayor, council members, this is the yearly mutual aid agreement with North Myrtle Beach to assist them with the Memorial Day bike event. It's a limited mutual aid agreement for that weekend only. So when we send folks over there, they'll have the authority, plus the city agrees to reimburse us for our costs while we're there. They will lodge them, et cetera. So it's just to allow them to do that. I know we do have a few officers who are interested in going. And I will add that it gives them the opportunity to see how other jurisdictions work and the things that they have to deal with, and then come home and be grateful that they live and
So
work
see
here.
how calm Clemson is prepared.
Yes, so, anyway.
Is this the same as, like, are the terms the same as last year?
Yes, same as last year, and it's the same as any other mutual aid agreement that we're, with the other agencies that we have them with.
Great.
Any other questions for Chief? All right, thank you so much. You know, you don't have to stay, Chief.
That's true.
All right, so next we're going to discuss the Anderson Regional Joint Water System voting representative, and this is not Dusty. Nathan?
He's the backup though.
Dusty's, I believe his daughter-in-law, had a baby today, so he had to get out of the building in the middle of a meeting with me. So he, on the way out, asked me to take care of this.
Bless his heart.
Benji McGill retired. He was our representative on the Anderson Joint Regional Water System. What we would like to do is put Dusty in that seat, and then when Dusty's not available, have City Engineer Nathan Hinkle represent us there. That, I think Nathan has the expertise, Dusty knows the operations, that's a good 1-2 punch.
Good.
Any comments or questions for Nathan? All right.
I may or may not be.
I see it's for a 3-year term, so that's.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. And always, there's always opportunity for the public, if anybody would like to, on any of these items, please. We're getting ready to go to our next item. Discuss the 2026 R01 proposed text amendment conservation overlay. Nathan, you went and sat down. You want to come back up?
I wasn't sure if Lillian wanted to read or if you.
Yes, why don't you go ahead and I'll wait.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, I really just want to take this opportunity for questions from you guys. I have Chair of the PC and most of my staff here, zoning administrator and planner for any questions you have. I will say tonight's response was not unexpected, but I do want to point out who wasn't here, and that is one wrote in, but none of the supporters that we had talked to came. Don't know why that was. I will say another group that was not here are the property owners along North Clemson that specifically asked for upzoning during the comprehensive plan. They were not represented here tonight either, as well as any number of the landlords that own properties in that section of town either. But I don't want to conflate the neighborhood protection overlay with the comments tonight in that area of town, because they are, in our mind, two very different protections. The underlying zoning of the properties mentioned tonight is still R20 and R12. Those do have height limits, those do have density limits, and the fear of developers coming and purchasing those properties is not something that a developer can't do today also, or couldn't have done for the last 100 years in that instance. So unless those residents are planning on entertaining the sale of their home, many of those arguments seem displaced.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend a ton of time in the presentation tonight, but in talking with everyone, we had, frankly, we were kind of surprised that this became controversial, if I'm just completely honest. We had folks in our office that cannot stand me. They gave me a hug when they left. We had folks tear up in our office, like, thank you that this is happening. And I did not, there was not one person that I talked to that I did not show the map to and show the lines and explain the lines. In those meetings, we didn't have a lot of pushback. We actually had some pushback from the property owners on there that didn't want to be included, was the pushback that we had. And we also were very upfront with growth belongs on the main corridors in the city. So we absolutely talked that 93, we expect that to develop, whether on the university side or our side. We absolutely expect College Avenue to develop. When you get folks alone in a room and are actually talking to them and explain them the traffic problems, explain to them our growth strategy, they all actually understand it. They're just not happy about it, and I completely understand that. So with that preamble, I'll let you guys fire off any questions you got. I'm an open book.
I had a couple of things. First of all, I'm kind of really upset about people that got off topic, and that's got to stop. Okay, some of that was ridiculous.
Yes, it was.
So anyway, beyond that, it's like the thing got hijacked. And I think we're very aware of who the hijackers were, but it did get hijacked. But I got to ask this one question. So let's just use North Clemson. We know the corner of Clemson and Wiggins got purchased for $1 million. Okay. So that is zoned currently what?
R20. Yeah, R20.
R20. So if the person that purchased that wanted to do something other than a single family home, what would they have to go through to do that?
A rezoning for the property.
Okay, so the BZA would be the ones there'd be a variance to that.
We would rezone it through the planning commission process in this council office.
So it would have to go through the whole process.
But let's just say they wanted to go in and put in some high value townhomes. Would we rezone it?
We have to.
Our recommendation would be to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely, as a planning staff.
So let's just go down North Clemson.
Yeah.
So they're all R20 on the, I guess that's gonna be.
North side.
Does that consider the north side? Okay, so let's just go down the north side, okay? So how many of those lots are R20 and when do they quit being R20?
If you'll go to the other map, I want to show you something.
Because I have the same point about if it's R20, then they have to
Very
go
last
through thousands of hoops to get the zoning changed.
Okay, here's a good map.
Because we had a big fight over, you had a slide a minute ago that had the duplexes.
Yeah, so this is what I
We had
want.
a big fight over that some years ago, okay, and it was approved, I guess by the planning commission, I don't think it ever got here, but it was a big community fight over that. And that's what it turned out to look like right there, but those are R what?
Those are RM4.
Yeah, so they did not, so that was the big thing, is that people assumed that those were, that house, the old ski lodge, was R20 like the rest of North Clemson. It was already higher density zoned. So when people found out instead of duplexes were going in there, I got.
I included this picture because I wanted to be.
People love them now.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they're super nice. So pretty much everything from there going towards the Esso Club, that's from that perspective, is R something, RM something, right?
RM4,
Yeah, all of that's RM4. So if you draw a line along the north side of North Clemson and everything above, beyond, going back the other way is R20, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's go on the other side. Let's go on the south side of North Clemson.
Okay.
So, I know obviously, and somebody made a comment about the park. We're not ever gonna let the park get in play in this thing.
No, and in fact, I'll go one further because Robert and I have had this conversation. We established during MOTA, we would not give them 0.01 of an acre.
Right.
So we have established that we will not sell city property to a developer. So Shanklin Sands Park alone is protected forever.
Will never come into
Off the
play.
table. And I want to explain what the dots are real quick, John, I'm sorry. The blue dots are vacant properties where things have been torn down. We, on the corner of Wigington and North Clemson, to the right, we expect those to be torn down. As John said, the house is in disrepair, it's game day parking now. It was recently purchased for $1 million. All the red dots everything in red is a rental. The green dots are owner occupied. The third house over from the right is next to the blue dot, sorry. That is a owner-occupied home. That's where Rupert lives. I'd let him is here. It has high-density rental in the backyard.
Right.
And so where I want to go with this is because that was again, frankly, this whole tonight was a little shocking. In realtor or in planning theory circles, once a street or an area reaches the threshold of 20% rentals, it is considered an area in transition. This area is at 72% rentals. So it is 52% past the normal threshold where we would consider an area in transition. By no means is our intent here, and I know that stems from what was placed online. It said, I think, quote, the city is doing this so that they can usher in projects like 398 College and the Hub in this area. That is not our intent. If you'll go back to the picture slide, this is our intent. Now, this would require rezoning to RM3. If I were to bring to you guys RM3 rezoning on North Clemson Avenue, the exact same crowd tonight would be vehemently against it. So, for all those reasons, we left it out.
Well, that was going to be my follow-up question was, we've talked about through all of the planning documents, ideally you have a transition zone like this.
Correct.
From a single-family neighborhood towards the more developed part of town, you have this, I don't want to call it a buffer, but the low to medium to high. And so this area seems to be naturally transitioning itself to that without us having to do anything, whereas our intention of that happening in other places just hasn't happened because we can't force a property owner to do something. So while it's working in our favor the way that it's going currently, that's just my observation of what that road is like. My follow-up question was, all of the people that are requesting that this these roads be added into the overlay. And there's a lot of information, so correct me, reiterate anything. Is there some mechanism here that we can assure the public it will not go beyond this point, and if it is requested, there is a process in place to go through planning and all of these different, like, it's not just gonna overnight become high density on North Clemson?
Correct. They would have to go high density in this area, they would have to enter the same PD process that every plan development has come.
It would have to go through PD process.
100%, yeah.
But
Unless we were to rezone it to allow this.
Which would be a lot by lot request by the property owner.
No, we could rezone in the area.
Yeah.
But I guess my point to this also, let's just go back to the North Clemson map a second ago. You take all those dots in through there, various owners have got various things in mind. And it could be, so for example, the corner of Williamson and North Clemson, I'm certain they want to put some high-value townhomes in there. Who's to say that the next lot doesn't want to do the same thing? So by virtue of what we're talking about doing with the overlay, aren't you really taking from them?
Well, what I will say is this, I don't want to use the term taking, but I will say that if I were to propose the overlay to go over these streets, you would have an entirely different crowd in front of you asking for that not to happen.
Why do you say that?
Because they are long-term rentals by property owners that you know, for good or bad. I mean, some of them are great landlords. So a lot of what we were at past planning commissions, we talked a lot about wanting brownstone townhomes. It was frequently discussed that those would go along College Avenue. I professionally disagree with that because I believe building brownstone townhomes on College Avenue they would be $1 million a piece at minimum. Also, they would only be filled 7 weekends a year, and that is a great way to kill your downtown vibrancy to have vacant properties. However, here, I'm totally fine with that. I would be totally fine with duplexes and brownstones if these people decide to sell their property and then the next owner requests an upzoning. But again, that is a long process.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, for it to be a PD, all these people are gonna have to sell.
Right.
I say no.
To the same, right.
Yeah, but, and I say no. Why can't other people say no?
But in transparency, we would like it to be possibly future be zoned, I'm gonna call it townhomes.
Yes.
What's it, R4?
Well,
RM3 would allow
R3. So I think maybe if their concern is, oh, you're gonna let it be a PD and be high density, we say actually our plan is, I mean, is that a different overlay? That overlay becomes, you know.
Okay.
I know, I don't want to introduce more.
Jacob, you're good to come on up, yeah.
So the comp plan calls for that area to be medium density residential.
Right.
And
that is R3, and that's your townhome,
Well,
or your,
no, well, sorry.
or your brown.
There's some ordinances coming your way. So part of this whole thing, protect the neighborhoods is the first step, but we also are in the process of getting our zoning correct, is the best way to describe it.
Yes.
Is get the height correct, get the densities, get the occupancies correct for the individual neighborhoods, so that nobody's going for PDs at all. So no one, we're actually introducing, like, the term we were looking for was middle housing. And we're gonna be coming forward with a middle housing ordinance that would allow for something we don't have currently, which is townhouses with an occupancy of 2. So right now you have to upzone everything to RM3 and RM4 to 2 townhouses. We're gonna be moving forward with zoning districts that have low occupancy to encourage not just townhouses for students, was what we've been pushing, our zoning has been pushing this whole time, but encouraging townhouses for, non-students.
Like that picture.
Like that picture.
So I think maybe that's if we say the long-term
this
plan
is
is, it's
part of the
almost like
bigger
there's an
plan.
overlay for this area too, that's a different.
It's a zoning
It's not
change,
single. And I think we said our intention is it never to be a PD area.
I got one question.
They gotta sell it.
Yeah.
So
I got one question for you.
if you guys would bear with me, I got a couple things I'd love to just put on the record, and it might hit some of these points too. Because I heard a couple of things. I heard an understandable anger at development that has happened.
Past.
it has happened. Not what's coming down the pipe, but what has happened in the past. I heard concerns that places are not covered by the overlay will accelerate development in all the adjacent areas. But I don't necessarily see that to be the case. I think there's a misunderstanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that zoning in the areas and the adjacent areas somehow changes with this overlay.
That is the misunderstanding, yes.
Yeah, so there's no changes to zoning, so the zoning regulations stay in place. The overlay simply prevents PDs in assembling 2 residential neighborhoods. I think there's also a belief that PDs are always approved if assembled. And I think that comes from folks just not being aware of how many development inquiries and requests your department gets.
Yes, I'd love to speak to
So,
that.
yeah,
one, too.
please.
And I would love to let
so,
people know on the record how many requests we really get.
A gentleman brought up 99 Wyatt, Daniel Square area, and he, someone's gonna be coming to develop this, they're all gonna be coming out, all coming out Martin. We get that, people come to talk to us about that spot constantly.
Yeah.
And staff says, right off the bat, if your entrance isn't going out to 93, don't come forward with anything.
Which requires you to work with the university to have that access, which the property currently doesn't have. And there is no way that I would ever advise a developer or bring a project to you that had it dumping out on Martin, which is the natural place for it to dump, or worse, Keith Street, which would dump it on to College Avenue. Like, it has to go to 93, or it has to work its way behind and catch the Douthit Hills exit. Like, those are the only 2 options for us. And I guess,
Maybe in an average month, how many times do you guys get calls about PDs and larger developments?
and it's March 2nd, and today I had 4. Yeah.
And I think people just don't understand how much comes at us.
And then go back to 99 White. When was the first time you got that call, Jacob? Probably
First time I got a call?
Yeah.
I've been here 10 years.
10 years
He came 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's my point.
Let's don't kid ourselves. 99 White is a perfect place for a high-density construction.
Everyone sees it.
But that also serves a purpose of the medium-density housing that we desperately need, so it's the same.
And that's where
I was just gonna say, I got a couple other points.
Yeah, go.
And I wanted to hit that one and get it on the record, because I don't believe people actually realize how often you guys get called. I would propose that Cold Springs, Post Lone are apples. North Clemson's an orange.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
I would say that Cold Springs and Post Lone are apples. North Clemson is an orange. Hillcrest and Dargan are a peach. They're not the same thing. And you can't treat everything the same when it's different. We would need to treat each area differently with a different solution if we're gonna do that. I suspect if we were to provide the same residential overlay to multiple properties under multiple zoning situations, that would not stand up in court. And if that's the case, that would invalidate the entire overlay. So if we try and apply the NC1, NC2 overlay, and please correct me if I'm tracking off here, to 99 Wyatt and other places that are higher density spots, if it got invalidated in court, the entire thing's out and we got to start over.
Well, I mean, considering the noise right now, I hate to say it, but turn it down. I mean, bottom line, if that's how strongly they feel about it, why are we beating our head against the wall? We're trying to do something. We're trying to protect them.
We're trying to do something to protect
just turn it down. I mean, or the other thing is you had less noise coming out of the Riggs Drive side over there, virtually no noise coming out of there outside of the 99 White piece. Approve that one and turn the other one down.
Well, I don't want us to respond out of frustration.
Well-
I actually feel like everybody who spoke first said, thank you.
Not all of them.
First
No,
complimented.
they did not.
Let me finish my
Oh, hell
thought.
no, they did
Let me
not.
finish my.
Well, don't.
All right, yeah, let's.
My thought would be the vast majority of people who spoke first complimented, and I would like to say thank you for all the meetings. I asked Andy about some meetings, you added more meetings, and so all the conversations you've had. And I think policy is incremental, and this is an amazing increment. We're saying it's never happened before. You're trying to begin the process of looking so closely. And so I think it may feel like to you all that you've worked so, you heard a lot of negativity. I think there's a lot of positivity that's been generated. We never hear from the people who are, because they met with you and said, check. You know, this is the people who are in the neighborhood. So I think glass is half full, and we shouldn't give up on doing something that I think was a wonderful intention. And people are gonna always ask, but more, right?
Right.
And that's what you heard, the please more, but we all do that.
Yeah.
So I would like to say, nice job.
Thank you.
For trying to really engage a lot of people in a conversation. It's a conversation that'll continue.
Sure, yep.
And I guess to your point, I was going to say the same thing, because you have people who are coming out who in so many ways feel like this is a good start and feel like it's a positive. So I heard a lot of positive comments tonight as well. And I guess for those individuals who do live in the area, you know, as Ethel Pettigrew talks about being in one of the oldest house, you know, if it's your property, of course you're gonna feel a certain way. So we have to be understanding that they want to feel protected too. So I think there's a way, as I mentioned to you over the phone earlier today, I think it's a matter of communicating and helping people understand what that means. At the same time, though, there still is that possibility. Because with the overlay, what they're hearing, because I can't remember which one said it, I think it was Mr. Hodges who came up and said it, it means no PD for those areas that are protected by that overlay. And so because that's what that means for them, those folks on North Clemson and the other places want to hear the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
And because that's what they want to hear, that's why they're saying they want to be included. So I think that's the part that that they're saying we're missing. That's the part that we're missing from their perspective. So I think if the education explains, you know, medium housing, still possibility of no PD. So sometimes the best way is going to be the zoning.
Yeah, I think you're right, is getting these areas zoned correctly is probably the best way to protect them.
Is zoning correctly. However, that will help them understand that also means no PD. And it can be protected, and you show them those things, because I don't think they heard that.
Yeah.
And because they didn't hear that, that's the piece that they're dealing with is no PD. And that's what we're talking about. So, because I was gonna ask the question, what other options are there? Because that's what we probably need to be thinking about versus just not trying to do it, because I think we're at a good place.
So
It's a start.
I think what I'm hearing now is what Jacob, you brought up, like the next steps.
Yes.
We haven't communicated that publicly. How can we communicate the next steps? What I didn't hear tonight, I'll bring up something I didn't hear, and I heard at the planning commission meetings, watching on video, I was not here in person. No, in person, I was not here in person, I was watching it on video. But I heard about other neighborhoods, why aren't we included?
Yeah.
And then how did y'all respond? I thought y'all responded. Say it again for the whole council and the community.
Yeah, other neighborhoods in the city are not under the same direct pressure that both of these neighborhoods are. Because other neighborhoods are not along College Avenue and near the university, it makes logical sense that these neighborhoods are under pressure. I guess with the no PD thing in an RM3 is tough. It's something we'll obviously have to think about. I mean, I think that rezoning this RM3, but there could be, see, the whole no PD thing is weird because PDs in Clemson have gotten such a bad rap because it's what we've done for so long. We are currently, since I've gotten here 3 years ago, we have been brainstorming ways to get you out of that cycle, which is our ultimate goal. But there are excellent examples of PDs in Clemson. Patrick Square is one. There are some just down the street from this with the townhomes there. So in an area like this where we've already used a PD, what are they called, Sunset? Something down there, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm very hesitant to say no PD because what if someone brings you a PD of beautiful townhomes that you want on this exact location because it is a transition corridor? So I guess what we're saying is like, it is, we knew we weren't gonna make everyone happy, at the beginning of this. But yeah, there are options. I'm not saying this is the only option, and I'm not saying the lines have to be the lines. I am saying the lines are backed with data, and tons of research, and tons of one-on-one interviews. So that's kind of the North Clemson. Let me say this, and I have the Planning Commission chair here with me. At Planning Commission meetings, at drop-ins, in one-on-one interviews, the North, what we heard tonight never came up.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured.
Hijacked.
And but to go on the record, we don't intend, I think they're here, for these areas to be high-density areas.
Correct, that's never our
And I
intention.
think if we keep
But that's
conveying
not what
that,
was.
we convey that publicly with promise, I think that's people here. So they're
But you
protected.
can't promise it.
You can't promise.
When the council continues to turn over, I mean, you can't promise something unless you
I'm
put it
just
in
saying
writing.
the intention of the planning, the staff has actually more continuity than anybody else. But your vision for this, I think, is a really nice vision of it being, as we said, I get the terminology wrong.
I was,
Yes,
I was,
you did.
I will say that we've never had anyone come here asking to do high-density, tall, high-rises.
On the
The
north.
only thing people have come here to ask to do is townhouses.
The townhomes, yeah.
And one thing
Which
also,
seems like a good
one
plan.
thing I think that's interesting too, and of course it doesn't give these people any comfort, and I clearly understand that, but everything that's on Hillcrest, for example, in Dargan and all that, it's protected on one end by the park, obviously, and then it's also protected by what it backs up to, because a lot of that backs up to the Episcopal Church, and that's not going anywhere. And then it backs up to property that's owned by the university. So, I mean, a lot of that's kind of sort of protected in its own way, but that doesn't give them any comfort. I get that.
Yes.
It's just that, you know, if you look at it from that perspective, I mean, I think drawing the line down on his road made all the sense in the world. But
I do want to establish too, like, in planning, function, Michael may correct me, but often in planning law, function trumps age. So this is not a historic zoning overlay. I respect the folks that have taken care of their houses. I think some of those houses are beautiful. I have no desire for any of them to disappear. But it is not a historic zoning overlay. And most of the places in Clemson have traditionally, when folks have tried to go for a historical designation, the homes or the lots have been manipulated so much that they don't actually qualify. Same with our downtown. That's a question that comes up frequently. It's why don't we protect it with a historic zoning overlay? But yeah, there's absolutely options here. I just wanted you to know that I was sent the post late Friday night that came out that everyone else saw, and I was very disheartened that those terms were used.
Well, and I would like to say thank you for all your hours of time to meet with some of the people in Clemson that have been forthcoming and not being as happy about certain things going on, but you sat down with them professionally and with decorum, and I can imagine that with some of the things that were said tonight, it could be very discouraging, but I hope it's not. I appreciate you doing that.
It's interesting. I will tell you, like, I mean, it's almost funny. Like, it's interesting to meet with someone in your office and leave with like, yeah, this sounds good, and then have them ignore you at a basketball game when you see them 2 hours later. Like, that's like, I just want to say, like, Jacob, Nathan, and Art, and Planning Commission, like, we are not out to the assumption that we're out pro development to rip down things is not accurate.
what do we do next?
Well, hang on.
Yeah, I had one other question.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead, because mine are very short.
Well, the only other question I had, because you had mentioned that the renters or other people maybe would not agree with it. If we put that into overlay. Can you talk a little bit more about why that is? Because I didn't really hear your
They would
explanation.
love the opportunity to upzone their property to allow for townhomes and duplexes.
So those would be the people who are renting or the people who own the property? I mean,
No,
who
property
actually own
owners.
it?
Also, the long-established rentals in this area, I feel, and I mean, we would have to see, but I feel quite certain that several of those property owners would be against an overlay.
I think some of them have said that.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain that if we proposed an overlay to do the things that this overlay does for this area, several of those property owners would show up against it.
I mean, because it hurts them, it would hurt them financially.
Say that
It
again?
would hurt them financially. Has the potential of it.
Yeah, I'm asking if it's the ones who are not living there, property owners, or is it the ones who actually
Yes,
live there,
yes, yes,
property
it
owners?
is, yeah.
Which one, the ones who don't live there, property owners?
Yeah, it would be property owners that do not live there that would absolutely be against it, but yeah. And I think what we are having to balance is they also have property rights too, so that's.
No, I get that, but I'm just trying to understand the.
And there's quite a few of them who live in town.
We're going to keep the discussion, but we are going to intertwine the comments that
Oh,
we
yeah,
submitted. We're going to read those, but Nathan, if you're okay, you're going to come back up.
I've got a question
because-
about those comments, are they redundant?
If they begin to be redundant, I will not read them, and I also am going to stick to the 2-minute limit as if they were here speaking. I do have just a couple things to throw on the record. There was
Thank you,
a
Nathan.
Yeah, thank
Thank you, Nathan.
You're good, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple things. I saw a comment, there was a comment about going to a vote. If we go to a vote, we would exclude a lot of property owners who are not registered to vote in Clemson about what would happen to their property. So I just want to put that on the record.
You mean the registered letter
Yes.
voting one?
If we were to do that, we would not get the opinion of all the property owners because they can't all vote in Clemson.
No, okay.
Just want to throw that out there. I think that the feedback from Mr. Garcia about clarifying language is good feedback. Can we define historic, things like that, just get it crystal clear, as close to crystal clear as we can.
About trees,
Yeah,
historic trees, yeah, that's a good point.
just so there's less
And the
room for
perpendicular.
interpretation.
Yep.
And then, I've got a couple notes I'll follow up with you about following up with individual people. They're probably people you've already communicated to, but like Mr. Grove, I think if we can talk to him about the things, the medium density, the future plans, that'll give a lot of people peace of mind. That's all I want to throw out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have public comments. These were all submitted via the My Civic app. They were also provided to you guys in writing and email. So the first, you got the timer? Thank you. The first comes from Ms. Huddle at 204 Edgewood Ave. She says, I very much appreciate the Planning Commission's approval and your consideration of the neighborhood overlay. While there are many benefits to the overlay, by far the most important benefit is that it prevents PDs in the designated area. As we know, these have been used to build massive student housing complexes on lots that were zoned residential. PDs have also been used to override height restrictions in areas zoned RM4. While I think the overlay is a great idea, there are two significant problems with the proposed areas. The proposed overlay excludes North Clemson Ave and Hillcrest. North Clemson is home to the oldest houses in Clemson. Many of these are older than Pike Fieldhouse, which is a registered historic building. These houses are on large lots and are the very definition of low-density residential. The entire street is single-family except for the apartments at the very beginning and end of the street, and one house in the middle that was converted to a small number of apartments years ago. The reason I was given for North Clemson Avenue's exclusion from the overlay was that property owners did not want it to be included. If the reason for not including that area is in fact what the property owners want, please listen to all property owners. 2 developers own homes on North Clemson Ave. The mass majority of the homes are owned by single families that live in their home. The apartments in the number 2. The apartments in the Sloan Poe area need a similar overlay excluding PDs. Edgewood Arms, Shorecrest Apartments, and the apartments on each end of North Clemson are fairly low density and mostly 2 to 3 stories. If these apartments are not protected by an overlay, a developer could rebuild them using a PD and put up a high-density high-rise. The city of Clemson is losing its charm, it's losing its beauty, including the beautiful old oaks represented in the city's logo. The neighborhood overlay is a step in the right direction, but should not come at the cost of losing one of the city's most beautiful streets and its most historic homes. I urge you to please add North Clemson to the Hillcrest Avenue to the overlay. I also urge you to create low-medium density overlay for RM4 zoned property. Thank you. That's from Ms. Huddle at 204 Edgewood, and I just will reiterate the conversation we just had. The next comment comes from Mr. Hayes at 307 Woodland Way. Dear City Council, I'm writing regarding the proposed overlay. I would encourage you to vote against this proposal for several reasons. Number 1, governmental overreach. The proposal seeks to inhibit developers from buying properties and either creating a PD or tearing down existing properties to build McMansions. Height limits, new setbacks, and other zoning changes could be implemented without the burdensome and costly BAR process this proposes. Number 2, the vague BAR process. The ordinance has been changed several times in order to smooth its path to acceptance. While the approval responsibilities of the BAR are now open-ended, it is very clear that staff want the BAR to be able to approve color, style, siding, garage placement, and setbacks of a home. The ordinance allows the BAR to set its own approval requirements. Why would citizens be accepting of a process that allows a non-elected body to set its own rules? Doesn't this sound like an HOA? Number 3, the cost of BAR approval. The $50,000 plus cost of an additional professional fees in the 3-month plus addition to the construction phase of a build is highly burdensome to a new homeowner and is unnecessary to accomplish the goals of the ordinance. Why not grandfather property owners? Number 4, tree tax. The ordinance requires all 6-inch trees to either be replaced by 2 canopy trees or a $500 contribution to a tree fund. Why would dead trees and trees within the footprint of the home not be excluded? Number 5, lack of foresight. Why would City Council believe that it has more insight into what is best for neighborhoods than future City Councils? Cities and neighborhoods change. If a PD is not wise at the time, then that current City Council can simply vote against it. And number 6, what are we preserving? While I love living downtown, the idea that these 2 neighborhoods are something akin to Williamsburg, Virginia, and need historic preservation is misplaced. There are many nice homes downtown, but there are just as many where a tear down and rebuild would be an improvement. And that's from Mr. Hayes at Woodland Way.
This is part of what Nathan said. None of that was right.
Right.
Okay, and they're going around talking to everyone as if they're the authorities. And Nathan goes out there and talks to people, and he says things, and then it's followed up with other comments, and there's a lot going on, and people are passionate, so it creates confusion, which creates anxiety, which creates a lot of what we saw in here tonight, you know. So it's hard to relay that message about wanting to have consistent and predictable growth when the very people who were in charge of that, 1, didn't address it on their clock, and 2, undermines him at every turn.
Yep.
And I was on the BAR for 6 years, and that's not accurate about the BAR or the costs. It's not accurate about the trees.
Just so y'all know, there's more.
Yeah.
These are short, so bear with me. The next comes from Miss Susanna Shantz at 309 Oak Street. She writes, there are so few remaining historic and character homes in Clemson, and recent developments along College Ave have eliminated some, not to include R12 and R20 homes on North Clemson. Hillcrest and Dargan for protection seems neglectful. At best, the architectural profile of Clemson has really become, alas, the bland and short-term the bland and the short term of design build, not that of thoughtful, site-respectful, human-centered architecture. And again, that is Miss Susanna Shantz. The next comment comes from Jenna Cox at 215 Wyatt Avenue. She writes, good evening, my name is Jenna, I live at 215. I would like some clarification regarding the proposed overlay. There are currently student apartments on the property of 99 Wyatt that are similar in scale with other homes along Wyatt Ave. However, this is not the exclusion of 99 Wyatt Ave. This area is not included in the overlay. In the most recent comp plan document, page 39 identifies the area as downtown. Could you clarify what types of development would be permitted in that area? Would this allow for higher density housing or commercial use? If redevelopment were to occur at a higher density in this location, what would the planned access points be? We just discussed this. Would access remain on Wyatt? Many drivers already use our neighborhood as a cut through. Routing additional vehicle traffic through our neighborhood could impact residents' quality of life. While the proposed conservation overlay is appreciated, more needs to be done to protect downtown resident neighborhoods and the unique ecosystem. This is Jenna Cox. And the last comment comes from Miss Sean Haney at 211 Riggs Drive. She writes, this issue is the culmination of a city staff member listening to residents and responding in a way that actually preserves our neighborhood and quality of life, unlike empty campaign promises. This overlay is also the result of conversations with residents. I've experienced firsthand the damage, destruction, and impact when these measures aren't in place. I now live beside a low-quality monstrosity built by a developer who gerrymandered a lot line, cleared trees, and beat topography to smoosh in a house that doesn't fit. It's now occupied by an undergrad student. I had to monitor and fight the overstepping builder. This is the least you can do to preserve what is left of our neighborhoods. Other residents will chime in with hypothetical scenarios of how it will be inconvenience to them, but if only they know what some of us know. There are others who say this isn't enough and maybe the overlay should be expanded, but most of those would not be happy no matter what you do. I will give credit where it is earned. Nathan has listened and acted and is actually doing the thing we have been begging for. I'd give anything for this to have been presented 2 years ago. So act now and move the plan forward so others' homes will not be negatively affected. And then that's Ms. Sean Haney on Riggs Drive, and that's our final submitted comment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me just recap, make sure, Nathan, if I'm reading this correctly. This all started like 25 plus years ago to try to protect, and I'm gonna say 25, I'm gonna say 25, let me finish real quickly, but visualize the 25 plus years ago about how we've been trying to say how, and we challenged the planning department to come to us with something. And here's what: neighborhood character, protect the neighborhood character, commercial infiltration, environmental loss, construction impact. How can we do this? The overlay, let me keep this, is setting design standards mandating BAR approval for all new construction. That's one. Keeping it simple. Protecting residential neighborhoods by prohibiting lots from being included in any planned development mixed-use proposals. Saving older trees through strict requirements to preserve mature tree canopies and prevent the drastic reshaping of topography. Requiring a mandatory city-state management plan for all, which is a first in any city that we know of in the state. Do we even know of anybody doing this right?
We don't know.
All new construction to keep noise and mess to a minimum. Am I correct in all that?
The BAR will not be reviewing all new construction. It will be reviewing so that's something that's out there. I do want to be very clear.
Okay.
The BAR, who we went to discuss this, like, what rules do you want? They want no part of telling you how your home should look. So when you bring your home, they want to tell you on these particular lots, and Al was almost right, there are 26 opportunities in these both neighborhoods where we believe someone can subdivide a lot, or whether it's vacant now, or for homes for new construction. So the BAR would approve the landscape plan and tell you where the building could be on the lot. We excluded, I want to also make it clear there, we excluded the footprint of the home as part of the tree preservation because we do respect the right to build. But even after some pushback, we left in the driveways because normally in other ordinances that's taken out. We didn't want developers making massive driveways as a reason to remove additional trees. So there are, but yes, everything else is exactly right.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I got that on the record. And I'll just go ahead and reiterate some what other council members have said. Thank you very much for all the hard work. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to the Planning Commission, to many others. Thank you for taking the time and energy. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, absolutely, but I guess.
And now you had the question. I'm going to defer. You had, what's the next steps?
What's next? I mean, so we've kicked around a whole lot of stuff here, and so we're supposed to vote on this in 2 weeks. But then again, we wanted to do more communicating. We wanted to do, the other types of housing and all that kind of stuff. So what's next?
Well, let me talk very quickly about the drop-ins we had. We had a drop-in at noon last Monday, and we had a drop-in at 5:30. At noon, several of the people in the room today were here. There were about 16 people in that meeting. At the 5:30 meeting, a couple from Camelot came because they were told that this applied citywide, and then they left immediately once I told them it had nothing to do with them. And then another gentleman stuck around the entire time. So we advertised this heavily, and we had 20 people show up to both of those drop-ins. What's next is, yes, you are supposed to vote in 2 weeks. We can take any refining mechanisms like the comments Lillian mentioned to dig in there. We had a gentleman press us literally today about, hey, make sure it removes pine trees from protected. So he really wanted hardwood canopy trees. We agree with that. So we would change the ordinance there. I'm speaking off the cuff here. I'd have to get with my staff and the planning chair, but who are both here. But I think an order of magnitude of as it's changing the scale of it, you would either have to vote it down or we would have to pull it back somehow.
Okay, that's fine.
I just had a couple of clarifications. I heard a lot of what you heard, Adam. A lot of people, I get their passion, okay? We all have passions. And so I don't diminish any of that. The first thing that came before us had 10 different restrictions. And this is what we got to. I mean, what y'all are seeing is not anything close to what was originally here. Down to 4. But, so here's the deal. We heard what people said. We heard about those things. Most people don't understand when you hear about a house in 1933, and I get it. I mean, some of those are beautiful and everything. It's up to them whether they sell it or not. That's not up to us.
That's right.
So it doesn't make sense. This is not a historic overlay. Okay? So it would never protect those homes in the manner that they're saying they want to protect and how it's built. This is a zoning tool. We have been concerned ever since. If you go back and look at all the things that this council has passed, you have passed and increased buffers. Most people do not understand that the Catholic Church and all those homes on the right side of Wigington, if you're going up Wigington to Edgewood, that's in a PD. What this does is prevent another home in R20 of that being taken for a PD. PD does not go away. It's still a tool. They can still apply to do that. But if we look at the comprehensive plan that you just passed last week, that we recommended that you pass, this whole area goes to medium density, which I am quite confident we're going to send you something on that. Now, what it looks like, I don't know. But if we take a look at Clemson next as well, it talks about the other areas that need different types of overlays. And so the precedent had already been set in the past where overlays have been done. This is a zoning tool, and it's the quickest way to get out of the cycle of what we've been doing. And so this was a lot of listening and learning, and I just want everybody to understand there's a difference between a historic overlay and a conservation overlay like this. And it would not meet historic overlay requirements. But that would be if somebody sells that. You know, they say developers are grabbing and offering this amount of money and this amount of money and this amount of money. Well, you know, eventually the person that takes it contributes to it.
So I got, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand where everybody's coming from. There seems to be a perception that all PDs are large student housing. And PDs have gotten that same kind of connotation like development. It's a bad thing. But as I understand, or as I remember, not only is Patrick Square a PD, but so is Sleepy Hollow Barn. Yeah. And Sleepy Hollow Barn is a PD so that you can have a wedding venue there. But that's an example of a PD that is not high density. Right. It's a zoning tool that is used for varied things. And you could do townhomes as a PD. It doesn't have to be, that tool is not singularly used for large student housing.
Correct. And the other part is the better we can.
And the Catholic Church is a PD.
Real interesting.
Yes.
They're all over
that's
town.
That's how those houses are. But the preference from studying, listening to the experts, and I'm telling you right here, you have the experts, listening to them, we're trying to get out of this cycle to where it is used in a more, I would say, what I call from studying zoning and things, appropriate manner. And not everything is. But that's going to take some other things, like looking at your comprehensive plan, and we'll be bringing to you, this is what it says, this is what we need it to be, as far as height in that area. This is where we say we're doing this is what it needs to be. And in the meantime, the whole entire zoning study is going on in the city. This is just a quicker way to rectify some of those things in the short term. But so they could come and tomorrow rezone my house. I don't know. What could you rezone my house, Jacob?
Don't answer that.
Right, he could. And you know what? My house would still be my house. So I sold it. Nothing could happen to it till that happened,
That's what people forget.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, and there's another piece to that, right? I got a letter from a citizen talking about consistency doctrine. And that our comprehensive plan and Clemson Next, if they're to be guiding documents for us, our zoning needs to be consistent with those guiding documents to be legally enforceable. There has to be consistency across our planning.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring up that people are getting mixed up with different parts of it, and I understand why you would. It's just like if we started something on this end and passed it around the room, it wouldn't be the same by the time it got here. So, but I think they've done a great job in what they've done, and I just wanted to mention the different steps and tools that these guys and ladies that we have working for us down there, and we do. I mean, unbelievable. One of them y'all need to hire, by the way, in my opinion. But does that help give you kind of a little bit of segment of what it came to us as and what we heard and how we got to where we are?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm not adding, I just want to say, wrapping up, my door's open, you guys can email me, you can give me a phone call. Unless I get a really strong opinions from all of you, then our plan is to continue moving this forward. But let me say, if tonight was uncomfortable, I'm coming at the next one with an option to raise the height on College Avenue with the sole intent to get you out of the PD cycle, not skyscrapers. We're talking back to what it was. So all these little increments will get you out of the PD cycle that you're in, and so that you're able to do the wide, broad policy things that you're supposed to be doing rather than focusing on individual developments. And that's the intent. Thank you.
I just have one last question, and I have one last question, and because the other part to what Herb is saying is the lack of understanding or misinformation, the education. So the families or the people who do live in those homes, I know you said they've come and you've had conversation, and this is the first time that you heard their concerns that they're talking about being included.
That's true.
When you met with them the first time, they didn't ask to be included?
So I only talked to folks originally, the original go-around was to only speak to people that had met to come to planning commission that lived in these neighborhoods that had spoken out against things in the past.
Okay.
Their names were not on that list.
Okay, so there's never been a conversation with them like that they've come to or individually?
Some of those folks tonight, no, I had never seen before. No.
Okay. So I was just thinking that maybe if we're able to get some information into their hands some kind of way, to just probably do a better job of helping them understand what it actually means and helping them understand that they're still protected to some extent. I think that could do a lot better than they're feeling like we're not hearing their concerns. So, because if they've not been communicated with, then that's another reason why they may feel the same way, that you hear those folks coming out. So it's a small group. It doesn't seem like it's that many. So I think that would be beneficial.
And this might be the way to wrap it up tonight. It's like what you just said, Nathan, about BAR has changed a little bit of what I just did on those 4 items. Whoever's putting it out, I'm looking at Bree, not to put all the pressure on, but how are we putting that back out within the next couple of days? I know, hopefully that's ample time. That would be what I know we'd all highly encourage that, so thank you.
I think what Alicia was saying, I mean, maybe you pick the real true movers and shakers within that group of people that came up and were speaking, and you call them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every single person was invited to a drop-in.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Every single person was invited to drop in. They've had a public hearing at the planning commission before where no one in the room tonight was at, other than Rupert, to my knowledge.
I mean,
They all got an invitation to information.
That's the difference between, we sent mailers to individual property owners, because we don't do that until it passes the planning commission.
you call Ethel, you call the lady that came up, the very first lady that came up. There's 2 or 3 of them in there that were, quite frankly, I think are somewhat of the influencers in that area, and you talk to them.
Certainly, yep.
And what I heard tonight, and a large portion of that came out recently on social media.
Yeah, certainly.
And if this is just misinformation running across social media is part of what motivated
You mean the
that.
thesis?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The thesis?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Rick.
I promise to be short.
You got a 2-minute limit.
You got 2 minutes.
And I didn't actually open it up, so thank you, Rick. So
You didn't
thank
open it up. Do I need to sign in, or can I sign in afterwards?
You'll sign it after, yes, sir.
All right, Rick Ware, 100 Holiday West, Clemson. Couple of things, what I'd love to see, I love that chart that you had that showed, identified all those properties. I'd like to see how many non-primary residents identified within the overlay district. Meaning they are not full-time residents of Clemson, number one. Number two, how many of them have parking permits? Parking on the grass kills it. If you're trying to create beauty by protecting something, you don't have a bunch of parking on it. How many of them have short-term rental agreements? I'd like to know how many of those properties in that rental are profiting from, somehow, from the Clemson University, right? I mean, and I could go on about large trees and stuff of that nature, but personally, you have people that have had trees fall through their house, and they get large oak trees and they don't want them no more. And so, you know, they would just limit what they buy. So, you know, and then how many people can really afford any of our houses now? You know, I mean, I can just tell you, I love you all. If somebody else comes to my door with $2.5 million, I'm gonna say, very nice knowing y'all. I don't know if these people are really getting $2.5 million or not, but.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, Helene took so many of the trees too.
All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up and go straight to staff reports. Andy.
Got kind of a sad one for you. Y'all know Dave Chastain, who works in Public Works. You see him on the Ave all the time. Well, his son works in utilities. David, who's worked here for many years, but his 19-year-old son was in a very, very bad traffic accident on Friday. But we have learned that the facial reconstruction surgery and all was successful.
Wonderful. Oh, hallelujah. Wonderful.
So that was great news. So keep the Chastains in your thoughts and prayers. If you're like me and you haven't done your statement of economic interest by the end of the month, go ahead and do that.
Yep.
I keep moving it up to the top of my email, thinking I'm going to get around to it. And then the state of Clemson's on Monday.
What time?
I was gonna say 11:30 to 12.
Noon, but I don't know when the social hour starts.
That starts at 11:15 or 11:30, kind of the gathering, but I think to answer your question, I think
It's
it's
there at 11:30, I'm sure.
And it's at Main?
It's at the Madron
Madron Center.
The students are very upset. Huh? No, they're not gonna be there. I mean, I'll be in town.
That's all I have.
Yeah, that's, and crunchy green beans.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next, we'll go into policy action. 2-minute limit per speaker. First is consider second reading of text amendment to Chapter 247F regarding abstentions. Councilmember Jones, do you have anything else to add at this point?
So nothing's changed. We've had discussion in the first vote. It's the same thing. We're getting in line with Municipal Association of South Carolina guidelines.
Questions or comments? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the second reading, approve the second reading of the text amendment to Chapter 2-47-F regarding abstentions.
Second.
Okay, any comments or discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Mr. Jones is back to raising that right hand.
Yeah, mine, I don't have my stick no more. I gotta make sure Jeremiah can see me.
His arm is better.
So, all right, consider second reading of proposed amendment to the townhouse definition and the rental housing ordinance. Jacob, you don't have to get up unless you want to get up.
He's already up now.
You're already up now, okay. Okay.
Yeah, strong light.
Yeah, there we go, okay.
There have been no changes since the last time you have
All that just for that.
But that's okay, we appreciate you coming back up. Any comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve the second reading of the proposed amendment to the townhouse definition in the rental housing ordinance.
Second.
Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is to consider first reading of ordinance confirming and ratifying the annexation and/or annexing certain property contiguous to the city limits and enlarging the city limits and for providing other related matters. Andy?
I too have nothing to add.
Comments, questions for Andy? From the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of an ordinance confirming and ratifying the annexation of and/or annexing certain properties contiguous to the city limits and enlarging the city limits and for providing other related matters.
Second.
Any comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Lastly, other policy items, consider declaring utility vehicles and equipment surplus. I know that, Nathan, this is your last time, so.
Yeah, we have 18 pieces of equipment. This is kind of an opportunity for Dustin to get in there and see what is the best way they're using the current equipment. So we've had some ability to transfer certain pieces to other departments where we could, and what's left, we would like to surplus.
And nothing has changed since the last time he was here. Okay.
All right. Any other comments, questions, anyone from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion we approve declaring utility vehicles and equipment as surplus.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor, raise your hand. All right, thank you very much. Last, well, two things, mayor council reports and comments.
I would like to congratulate the 10U girls and 14U boys that are Western District champions in basketball team and are heading to state this coming week.
Awesome.
Yeah, the girls beat my granddaughter's team.
Oh, no.
That's okay.
I'm sorry to rub it in.
Well, I will, I don't know if Alicia's gonna bring it up, but the dinner Saturday night, kudos to Morgan, many people, but Morgan specifically, obviously, and it was a nice way to end Sincerely Daniel. I thought the community coming out, it was cool to see one of the former athletes. She brought her family, and it was great to hear her story. I want to give kudos also to Lowell, because he videoed it, so if you want to see it, you can watch it anytime. Kudos to Quail and DK, they wrapped up Sincerely Daniel very well. And then we also had MC from Blue Ridge Electric. Daja Davison, and who else? And then, who else?
Shannon Preston,
Shannon Preston.
And Lift Every Voice.
Yep.
And Coach Gaines did the invocation.
And then it was a great event, and again, highlight to Morgan for hosting it and really leading it, and so it was great to see her. And she got a chance to introduce/reintroduce herself to a lot of people too, and I thought that was great.
I have something. I would like to address the comment that Stephanie Platt wrote about a comment I made with listening. I was in contact with Stephanie Platt back and forth with emails, and I did ask her to give me a call so I could understand what it was that she wanted me to elaborate on. So I never received a phone call. I am not a keyboard warrior. I'm more of a talker. So I will like to say is that was a comment. It came from the heart, and it was a comment. Just like when people come up and speak to us and have their comments, that's all it was. There was no conspiracy. There was nothing there that was nothing there. It was a comment about us trying to listen to each other, and it came from the heart. So hopefully that will have the explanation that is needed. Thank you.
I got one other thing.
Yep.
I just want to let everybody know that the Green Crescent Trail folks have approached me about being a de facto member of their board and kind of being, I guess, the intermediary between their board and us here. And the city, not just us, the city as well. So they wanted it to be somebody that was elected in that role versus somebody that was, say, an employee and all that. I did also advise them that I was only going to be doing this for 305 more days. And that, we would find another member of council to take my place. But anyway, I will at least start the process.
Very good.
Thank you for doing that. Thank
Well
you.
chosen.
And I echo what Barbara said about the Black History Month luncheon, so it went well, or the dinner. But Women's History Month is this month, and the nominations, we will be recognizing at the March 16th meeting. You can still nominate someone. March 9th is the deadline that we would like if you want to nominate someone, and we'll recognize all of the honorees on the 16th.
I had something too, and this is just to put it out for discussion. But, while tonight, we had a good night tonight. Nothing got out of line, but we have had some decorum issues in the past. And I'd really like to see us get a camera going the other way, and record what happens. I believe if you're in this chamber, you should show decorum, having a camera that records all of what happens in chamber, because what we have on camera right now really cuts off up at the front.
I agree with that.
But that's subject to council feelings ordered the same way.
I'm looking at it as you put it right back up there, just like that one.
Yeah, and it would give us a way to see from both sides everything that's going on in the chambers while we're here. If we have issues, we'd have a record of what's going on.
There we have more transparent. Love it. It's my fault. Any other comments? New business? All right, we had on the agenda executive session, but there's no update on a legal briefing, so we will not have executive session tonight. So would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
How quick that is,
You didn't even
always.
have to finish this sentence.
Gosh, let me at least finish my sentence. We want
All in
decorum.
favor,
Look.
raise your right hand.
All right, all in favor to adjourn, raise your hand. All right, thank you very much. Have a great evening.